Hello and welcome. I'm Mercy, the Game Master here at the V Monsters, and we're back with another session in the Kingdom of Rin. Last time, our adventurers enjoyed some peace and quiet for the first time in a 10-day. Alondite decompressed with Amina, Skabosh checked in with her guild leader, Druge reunited with his mother, Bahir celebrated at the tavern, and Rubato recovered some of his lost goods from the church. The next morning, the party was awakened by the bells of Capstone tolling once more. After brief panic, they realized that it wasn't the alarm bells and that a crowd of people seemed to be making their way toward the west gate. They followed the crowd and met up at the manor of the Lady of Capstone. The Lady and Lord Partner began a ceremony to remember the fallen defenders, to honor the battle's heroes, and to inspire the people to keep moving forward. After the malicious officers were called up and recognized, the party were celebrated one by one with various promises and rewards. The final part of the ceremony focused on the town's defenses, and the lady announced the construction of 3 new forts in the wilderness that will act as stopgap defenses and early warnings for the town should any further organized aggression form. Those forts were awarded to Field Commander Dunstan, Paladin Captain Rosalind Clark, and Alondite, and will be named after the town's captains who gave their lives in its defense. When it was announced that the fort named after Paladin Captain Leona was being awarded to Alondite, Rosalind loudly interrupted the ceremony and was confronted by the marshal, Bridget Peters. The two raised voices and made accusations at each other, but before anyone else could react, Rosalind led a procession north to the main church of Banah and performed a ritual where she swore oaths to the archangels of Banah. And at the final oath, the archangel Ashare materialized above the fountain she was kneeling in and blessed her.
The peace was lasting, long and true, from mountains to the ocean's blue. Man and elf and dwarf and gnome lived together, hearth and home. The cities grew, then kingdom came, the wise and true. Long may he reign. From cult to church, the truth was spread. The heretics were filled with dread. First they lied, and then they stole. The peace we had, no longer whole. They sought to kill and undermine, but truth was found before the time. We banished them, all but a few, then built ourselves a kingdom new, no longer marked by war and sin. Banah did give his grace to men. No gods, nor fiends, not great nor small, can penetrate his peaceful wall. From mountains to the ocean's blue, this peace will last us long and true.
As a quick recap on the actual actions that were taking place, there are 6 sacred fountains dedicated to each of the archangels of Banah, and then the kind of reflecting pool of peace representing Banah himself in the middle there. Everybody arrived. Rosalind stepped into the first of the fountains, being the one closest to the door here, held her head under the flowing water coming out of the urn in the angel's hands, and pledged an oath to it, and then repeated that process 5 more times, making her way down through all the fountains, making pledges to each of the 6 archangels of Banah. When she got to the 4th fountain, the one where Alondite currently is, which is the fountain dedicated to excuse me, dedicated to the Archangel Nanel, the Archangel of Duty. Alondite joined her in that fountain, and then repeated the words that she said, and then she continued on down the line. Finished her oath at the last fountain, which was to the Archangel Ashare, the Archangel of Passion, which is the Archangel to whom she is dedicated. And at that time, the clouds parted and light shone down from the heavens upon that area. And what initially looked to be a victorious, if you will, moment briefly appeared to possibly be something else, as the fountain and everything surrounded by it was suddenly engulfed in holy fire. And you heard Rosalind like scream out, and then that was cut short, and then the holy fire dissipated, and the angel herself was, or at least a representation thereof, was standing above the statue, tall and looking out over the crowd with a voice that boomed in your heads, despite the fact that it did not appear to speak, and it offered that it accepted Rosalind's oaths and named her a Knight of the Faith. And that was where we left off. So, starting things off here today, then the clouds kind of start filtering back in and closing the gap that was providing light here. It is kind of mid-morning on the... Ooh, I did not note that correctly in my notes, I don't think. Either the third or fourth day of late spring. If somebody has that down, you can correct me, but I forgot to write down which one it was. Sure. And the storms of the last few days seem to be dissipating, but it is still very cloudy, and the clouds kind of close back in, and the ambient light level falls. And those of you that are present note that even as the darkness kind of like spreads across the area again, Rosalind herself is still kind of faintly emitting a glowing white light from all around her. And kind of the smell of ozone in the air, almost like a lightning strike, and a bit of a breeze comes back through. I didn't fill the courtyard here with other minis because it just seemed like it was going to kind of junk things up. But there are other people here, like 50 to 100 people did kind of like follow in the procession up this way. So there are people kind of packed all throughout the garden, and there are also people kind of along the outer fence. Kind of like looking over and peering through the bushes and trees and whatnot when and where they can. So I guess before I take back over, does anybody that's there have any immediate reaction to what has just taken place?
I'll lean over to Bridget. I'll be like, so what are we, what do we do now?
There is no immediate response. She's just dumbfounded by what's just happened, as you and everybody else is.
Rouge, was that person on fire?
I want to say Druge is like not as being like a spirit shaman, not like as I don't know, like dumbfounded, or
is this normal?
So I want to say his response is like maybe not one of like lost for words, but not complete understanding. He's like, I don't know. I myself don't know how to answer that question, because I would be like, what in the world did I just witness? But I would want to say that Drew is a little bit more intrigued or interested as what he just saw, versus like, oh my god, what is going on?
Right. Yeah, your take on it's a little bit more like, yeah, and that was awesome. Right? Like,
yeah,
it's, you're seeing, like spirits and spiritual power in action. So you're you're probably feeling kind of jazzed.
Mm-hmm.
What was that creature? What that was?
Oh, I couldn't tell you.
Do you have knowledge religion, Drew? I don't remember.
Let me see. I know I just put a couple of points into one of the knowledge selections.
Yeah, I got you pulled up here. No, not religion. Okay.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, like, it was something powerful.
I'll have to talk to Alondite about this if he's in trouble for standing in a fountain. Religion is very strict.
As you guys are kind of like talking, and Bahir's kind of like side-eyeing, like, like every couple seconds you're like looking over at Bridget, like
Kind of like, I don't know what I just agreed to on the way over here.
The people in the crowd start at first kind of like one by one. It's like the start of like a slow clap that leads to like an ovation. Like a few people kind of like fall down to one knee. A few people kind of like stand back and like throw their hands up towards the sky and start like praying or chanting, and like the kind of that sort of energy kind of starts to like move through the crowd. What does Alondite do?
I'll just fall to one knee and just can't believe that I actually got to see the Archangel Ashari.
Okay. So that that kind of energy sort of flows through the crowd in kind of a wave as more and more people take the knee. Like I said, a few of the people, probably more like the clergy folk, are like still moving about a little bit, like kind of performing like minor blessings or rites or whatever. And sorry, in the scramble today, I didn't have a few things at arm's reach that I usually do. And although she is one of the last to do it, Bridget actually like takes a knee as well.
I don't take a knee, I just watch.
Anyone run up to and try and hit it? The Archangel? It is gone. It's so I debated about how much detail to leave in other than just being like, hey, go rewatch the end of the last episode. But it faded out of existence, and while that was happening, it like held out its hand, and a dove, which for those of you not in the know, is the symbol of Bana himself, like came and landed in her hand briefly, and then like took off, and then she kind of faded out of existence. And as that was happening, kind of made eyes at Alondite, and like he was the only person that she seemed to directly acknowledge, other than obviously Rosalind.
I can kind of try and glance at Bahir and like motion my hand like
Bahir will like shake his head at you like, why would I do that? I don't deal.
All right. So Rosalind's, I gotta make sure I use the right names here. Rosalind starts striding kind of with purpose through the crowd, and on the way by occasionally like lays a hand on somebody's shoulder, or like stops briefly by somebody, but for the most part she like crosses through the garden and like approaches, or as she's approaching, I guess, kind of where you guys are. There's no kneel emote, unfortunately. I don't think knockdown is really appropriate. So as she's approaching, you see like Bridget's hand kind of like goes to the hilt of her sword, because it almost looks like Rosalind is kind of like not charging, like she's not running at you guys, but it looks like she is like kind of stomping towards you. And like Bridget, she doesn't draw her weapon or anything, but she like hand goes to the hilt of her sword. And then you see that actually Rosalind was starting to just like go right past her. And then like she stops and like kind of looks down at Bridget and scoffs. She's like, "You really think so little of me? I don't think you should embarrass yourself any more than you already have today." And then like just stomps off past her into the church.
How pious of someone who's just, knighted to be a... And then you'll stop there.
You're actually saying that out loud?
Yeah, he says it out loud.
You really want to play that bard, don't you?
How immediately? Like when she's right next to you, or is it more like kind of after she passes, or
like kind of like as she's passing?
Okay.
I think Bahir's about to do something very stupid.
She stops like in her tracks because she didn't even really kind of fully break stride to like stop and kind of humiliate Bridget a little bit, but she kind of whirls on her heel and like stomps up to you, and you see her like looking at you very intently, but not actually really looking at your eyes. She kind of like sizing you up.
Mm.
And then she takes a step back and is like, "I wouldn't expect you to understand. Maybe one day the light of Banah's peace will find its way to your heart." And just kind of like not quite sneers, but kind of like turns her nose up at you a little bit, and then like, if you'll forgive me, I need to go and mourn my friend. Like turns and like stomps off into the I almost said castle, into the church.
During that whole interaction, did she acknowledge any of the other paladins, like that were, if anyone else was kneeling, like out of respect, or is it just all about this show of her?
Oh, it's all about her.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, there were, like I said, on the way through the crowd, she like kind of sort of did, but it was like not, it didn't feel very like genuine or like very deeply engaged.
Okay, I'm gonna rise and kind of follow to confront her in like a private chamber or something.
Okay. Also, I'm assuming Alondite has knowledge religion, yeah?
Yes, I have. The knowledge, but no ranks.
Our fighters really just are pressing their luck today, guys.
We'll be okay.
Oh dear.
When you see a tool, you gotta call him out, alright?
Except this tool just got knighted by a, archangel.
That don't mean nothing to me.
Oh well, it could have some kind of special power now.
So you said it's a class skill, but you don't have any actual ranks in it.
Correct.
Okay. Go ahead and just roll the religion check anyway, because you can still get up to a 10.
I'm sorry. It was a class skill, like when I was a paladin, and now it's
that's fine. It's still a class skill for when you're putting any levels in paladin, so it was still a class skill for it at level 1.
11.
Okay. And you don't have like a highly negative intelligence or anything, do you?
Nope, just an average intelligence.
Okay. So
Actually, my intelligence is literally 11 too. So
I think kind of contextually, like a 10 for you as an actual paladin is like probably a little better than a 10 for like whatever, Rubato or something. Kind of contextually. So you don't know much about it, but you are like, you do know that like nobody has been named like to the knighthood of the faithful in recent memory, like not in probably hundreds of years. And then so as you're following her, the energy in the crowd is very mixed. Like some people are like, in like the throes of adulation. Some people are kind of rumor mongering about the interaction, because overall, right, like most people are probably not quite as focused on like Bridget and that interaction as the rest of you. Most other people are somewhere between like, oh my God, like that was, like an angel, like, like that was a highly spiritual moment for them to just kind of like being overcome by the like divine power that was just shown. So like probably only, a fraction, 10-20% of the people actually were even really kind of aware of that interaction that happened, like as Rosalind was going stomping out. And so like most people are like kind of excitedly talking, like some people are kind of like hushed and like kind of standing there like eyes closed, like praying. And then Donella comes kind of like scuttling up with her little retinue in tow, and it kind of like walks up to the fence area out here. And he kind of looks around and just kind of like sees everybody, like kind of the weird energy in the crowd, and it's like, oh, like what's going on? Did we miss something? So none of you necessarily need to interact with that unless you want to, but kind of like those of you that are like aware of her, it's kind of like face palms, like classic Donella, kind of like day late, dollar short, like kind of like poorly informed. She just comes up, kind of like, yay, it's like celebration day, and like everybody else is like enraptured right now. She's like, oh, what's going on? And then you step into the church. The church does not, as you can see, have much of an innard yet, but you see Rosalind like making out for, obviously at this point she's a bit ahead of you, but making out for Leona's office.
I also kind of follow behind Alondite, but like not engaged, kind of a thing. Just to kind of be off in the shadow, like listening in.
Are you trying to be like sneaky, or you're just kind of like hanging back?
I'm just hanging back.
Okay. Yeah. Well, and it would take you, because unless you're going to jump down into one of the fountains, which I don't know if I would recommend at the moment.
I would not do that.
It's going to, you're going to have to kind of make your way around to a spot where you can like get down and get into the whatever. So you'd be a bit behind them anyway. So, all right. So are you trying to like call out to her in the church proper? Or are you just going to like follow her into the office, or what do you think?
Does it look like she's heading towards her office, or just somewhere outside? I'll follow her into her office, or like kind of calling out to her, like, can we speak privately?
So when you walk into the office, so like she she's walking very determinedly, like definitely a woman on a mission. There's no idea you're behind her. And so she's swung the door closed.
Rosalind.
Okay. You call out to her as she goes to swing the door closed, and like she looks up at you. Make a spot check.
-4.
Well,
8.
I was like, that's an okay roll. I need to say that part.
Okay, so yeah, you don't necessarily pick up on any facial expressions. It's kind of darkish in there and whatnot, but you do see just kind of like body language wise, like it's as soon as she like got to the office, like it looks like she's kind of like deflated a bit. She's like kind of leaned against the door a little bit. You call out to her and she kind of like whipped her head up to you. And she tries to kind of like straighten herself up and kind of like puts her hands on her hips. And, how can I help you? Like it's a very different tone. It's very like kind of formal sounding now.
I was wondering if I could take a moment of your time to speak freely in your office, just without any prying ears, and just to get rid of any tension. I just want to talk with you.
Are you still walking towards her as you're saying that?
Yeah.
Okay. So as you're saying that, you get a little closer to her, you get like a better look at her, and like she is standing there like leaned against the door, like she is bawling. You look like distraught, and then you like look over her shoulder and you see the like, because it's not her office, it's Leona's office. She doesn't have an office here. And like Leona is laid in state in her office right now. That's where Rosalind was.
Look to my notes. If have I ever talked to Leona in her office before?
Yes.
Yes.
You
Is
helped
that where-
redecorate it once, actually.
Yes.
Oh boy.
You threw things.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, I'm just gonna recall that memory and be like, yeah. Can't help but notice you're distraught, just to put it mildly. And not everything has to be a front.
Help me understand. What are you trying to convey? What does not everything has to be up front mean?
And a front.
Oh, got it. Okay, that makes more sense. Kind of smiles sadly, and she's like, "But I don't have to mean offense to cause it, but I appreciate the thought nonetheless. Is this something that needs to be dealt with now, or could we talk later?"
We can talk later, but this is meant more to ask how you're doing. I understand that you're not in a great place, and no one seems to care.
Okay, that was not where I thought you were headed with that. I thought you were going to go and try and play fixer upper. I can dig it. She's still kind of like leaned against the threshold a little bit. She's kind of like head still hanging a bit, but she like holds her arm out, gestures into the office.
All right, let's go. I don't say it like that, but yeah. I walk in.
Yeah. Yeah, she pulls the door closed behind you, like steps in and just kind of like stands there staring at Leona. And when I say in state, that's probably overstating it a little bit, right? Like it's just still just Leona's office. And this is very shortly after the battle. So she's like probably not even been dressed down or had much of any sort of like burial treatment or anything. And
Oh yeah, she's probably still like in her armor,
Yeah.
just like laying
so
on her
this
desk.
is just like her body on her pretty much.
Loot the body.
Oh my gosh.
Just gonna ask her if, like, do you need any help, like, mentally, physically dealing with this? It's a lot to take in.
She doesn't say anything. She just nods and like starts oh shoot, we looked up the word, I forgot what it was. But like doff, right? She starts to like doff Leona's armor and like kind of like sing a bit of a dirge, really. You know, it's just kind of like under her breath. It's not anything like organized. She's not putting on a performance or anything. It's much more like reserved than of historically.
I'm just kind of gonna hang out in the shadows outside the office.
Does she look like she wants my assistance while she's doing that? Just to like kind of emotionally rot her
Make
and
a
just be
sense
like,
motive check.
Oof.
no bonuses there.
No bonuses. Hey, you don't have a significant read on it. Go with your gut. What do you think?
I'm going to do what I feel I came to do, and that's just help her through a difficult time. Talk her through it.
Are you also like, are you going to physically assist her, or are you just like,
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So as you know, like donning and doffing armor, especially heavier armors, there's a fair amount to it. You have to, you know, untie the ties where it's connected to the arming wear, and you have to, you know, there's all sorts of buckles and whatnot that have to be done. Her armor is not particularly mangled. She, as you get a better look at it now that you're closer, she essentially went down to a lucky shot, just like an arrow that got in through, you know, kind of between two joints of armor and whatnot, or a bolt, I guess, more technically, and just the kind of like capricious nature of war. He, like, otherwise was probably faring just fine until that happened.
I kind of ask her, what is your strongest memory of her that we can remember her by?
Kind of wipes her eyes and takes off her gloves, and she's like, we both went, you know, we were acolytes, and we were trainees at the same time, and you know, a lot of people nowadays just thought that she was kind of a stick in the mud bureaucrat, and he did, she lets out, not lets out, but gives like the slightest of smiles. She's like, Leona did love her rules and regulations, no doubt about it. But you know, I having known her before that, like I believe that she was a pure soul, and that was just the way that she saw the you know, that was the way that she could best contribute to the running of like a healthy and good society. She thought that, you know, rules were important, and you know, really that came from a she kind of stops and like breaks down again for a minute, and like one of our classmates didn't, during training, they thought they were ready to move on from their training gear and their training sword, and they ended up hurting another student, and that student died. As she's kind of like rocking on her heels a little bit. He was a friend of ours, and he didn't survive his injuries, and I think that really shaped, you know, Leona's perspective on things and how important it is to follow the rules. So I guess, you know, my memories of her are tied up a lot in her molding herself to do what she thought was right.
I'd like to think that if I was to go down, I'd have a friend like you remember me by You're definitely someone with great passion. He's lucky to have someone like you. I'm just wrapping up the conversation.
Kind of wryly as you say that. She's like, well, was. Back to what she was saying. And you want to fade out from there?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, the two of you spend, a half an hour or so together, doffing her armor, and she calls for like a bucket of water, and you guys clean up the body a little bit, and like say some prayers and kind of perform the funerary rites, and kind of happens. I don't think we need to role play that whole thing out, but that kind of plays out over the course of a half an hour or so. What about everybody else? You're the rest of you, are kind of left in this strange moment out here in the courtyard. The crowd eventually kind of starts to disperse. The citizenry only has so much patience, I guess. Despite how exciting it was, everybody still has a life and a town that was recently just put to the torch and whatnot. So some people stay, some people pray. You actually see a couple of the clerics actually perform a few like kind of induction rites in the reflecting pool in the middle. Like inducting a few new people into the faith. But otherwise, the kind of over the course of 10 or 15 minutes, the crowd kind of starts dispersing and stuff.
Mm-hmm. When the person brings the request, I slip into the room, kind of tap it on the how he's doing.
Huh? Oh, hey.
What's going on in here?
Sometimes we're too quick to judge people.
All the time.
I think in this case, it might have gone.
Far?
Yeah.
How are you doing?
Sometimes you see a reflection of yourself in others, and this might be one of those cases. You think back on some choices that you've made, and you look around at those that surround you.
No one else is here for this, but we have this special little friendship. We've always been friends since our childhood days, and I just kind of wrap my arms around his neck and give him a hug. Say, I'm glad you made it. I was worried about you.
Felt the same. I didn't think we would see each other again after that. Embrace her back.
You see the explosion?
See it. I almost felt it.
What happened?
I don't know all the details, but all I know is that from what I've heard, Leona took something out, and
That was Bridget.
Sorry, Bridget.
Okay.
I read Leona in the text, and I was just like, that's the first thing. When your brain reads and doesn't respond, yes, Bridget took something out into the field, and I went and got her from, I don't know what happened.
Do I smell the oil that he spilt on himself?
Probably. I don't know. I guess it's a day later, so
okay. Probably washed off. All right.
He probably smells more like horse now than oil. He spent most of the night with Amina.
True.
I was going to say that depends if Alondite bathed.
I would assume though he's probably covered in cuts and bruises and blood. So I just say you should probably go wash up and maybe all upon my parents. I'm sure they're worried sick about you as well.
A visit is due.
I'm gonna go
They
check
made it
in with
out okay?
I'm gonna go check in with my guild. I have some news to give them, if any of them. Make sure you come by the house.
I will.
But I kind of slip off. Shadows towards the door.
Yeah.
And then obviously head towards my. That'll be a bit, so
Sure.
we can move to the. But here sounded like he had some stuff he wanted to.
Is Bridget like still like kneeling or?
Well, not for 30 minutes, no.
Yeah.
That's some commitment.
I mean, like as they walk through the door and stuff, is she still like?
Yeah. She stays there until Rosalind's gone. So Bridget, presumably, I guess you don't have any way to know this for certain, but like being a human woman, in the like lesser nobility of the Kingdom of Rin, likely a worshiper of Bana. So that's, I don't think that's not a large leap of logic, I don't think, for Bahir to assume that would be why she took a knee.
Yeah. I'll like Peppa will be like, well, I haven't been to the training field yet. If you'd like to come along, maybe get out some frustration.
I'm sorry, I missed the very first part of that. What are you offering her?
Oh, to go to the training yard with me.
Oh.
Frustration and whatnot.
Maybe get out some frustrations on some dummies or something.
She stands up kind of at that offer that kind of like breaks her out of her own reverie, and she just looks kind of defeated. Obviously the last couple days have been pretty rough for a number of reasons, and she kind of like mulls it over for a minute. She's like, I don't know if I have it in my sword arm right now, but I'd welcome the companionship. I'll go with you.
All right. We could also try to go. Supposedly, there's some kind of reward to go collect, but I don't know if you'd want to go with that.
Like, I don't feel very reward worthy right now.
Oh, no problem. And then is Druge up on like the rafter still?
Yeah, what are you doing as the crowd disperses?
Probably just heading down to the door, like kind of where everyone's already located. So you head down here, kind of pop his head in and be like, hey,
Oh, there he is.
you guys need me? If not, I'm probably gonna go back to my mom's house and see if she needs help with anything.
Do you want to help me try out something new that I want to try out, Druge?
Is it gonna put me in danger?
No. It's all you have to do is shoot a crossbow at me.
All right, I'm in.
All right. To the training grounds.
Okay, well, that's on the west side.
There's some that are like right here.
West Philadelphia, born and raised.
Oh, I see him. Okay. All right. Well, Drew's is gonna head over there then. I don't know how long you're gonna take, but he'll be waiting for you. Do you have a crossbow though?
Just real quick, let's is there anything in particular you want Rubato to be doing, or are you happy to just kind of let things pass by here until you all get together?
I'm okay with that. He went off to find some food. I'm sure he found something. A nice taco cart. He'll probably meet up either at Skaba's house or at the tavern if he can't find people. But for the time being, he's fine just relaxing.
Okay. So yeah, I otherwise I see no reason why none of why those things can't happen. Bahir and Druge kind of being followed, like Bridget's kind of trailing almost in your tracks, like she's
or third wheeling her.
kind of yeah. I mean she's almost in, she's kind of acting like she's in shock, which she probably is. So she's like on auto follow right now. So she's kind of, which is obviously like a big departure from the like generally self-assured like very like public presentation that she usually puts on. She's kind of just like milling about behind you as you guys make your way through town back to the camp. But otherwise, yeah, you guys have been in and out of the camp several times, and obviously the guards at the gates see Bridget with you, so they open the gate without any contest. You say you were going to the east one or the west one?
We already moved our guys.
We went to the east.
We are here. The one next to the church.
Yeah, just grab Bridget's.
All right, Druge. So you just gotta take a crossbow bolt. I'm gonna have my sword out, and you gotta try to shoot me with it. Okay?
Does it have to be a crossbow? Because I only have a bow.
A bow could work, I guess. But firstly, let's put some felt or something over the sharp part.
No, I'm not doing that.
So it's not lethal.
Listen, if you want to test out whatever this new ability is, you gotta test it out, and in its most authentic, in the most authentic way possible. All right.
Okay, sounds good to me.
Bridget is she's mostly down to like her army wear and like some leather armor, and she's just kind of like sitting off to the side, like sharpening her sword.
I hope I don't hit her.
All right, go ahead and roll.
So what do I have to just roll a 20 and then whatever my
Uh-oh.
And then
That's less good.
what is it? It's a 1d8.
And Druge roll a less than
How much do you add to 17?
1d6 is 1d6.
Do you add anything to 17?
Oh yeah. 2, so 19 total.
19 total. Okay. Do I? Uh-oh.
Right, yeah. I think
Oh,
it's
okay.
19. My base attack bonus is 2.
All
I
right.
don't
I'm
plus 1, right?
I'm gonna use my wall of blades here to try to knock your air out of the air with my sword.
Whoa, what was that initial roll of a 6, huh?
That was if
Oh,
you
we
could
have
convince
black and white
me
on
to
this.
do it without felt-tipped arrows.
Anti-dokey.
Oh,
Ah.
I do it. First try.
But does that beat my 19 though?
I add 6 to that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I don't need to roll anything for damage.
You don't
That's
need
not
to roll
gonna hit
damage,
anyway.
no.
You want to do it again? It worked pretty well.
Yeah, so you like shoot your arrow at me and I like flick my sword and I like cut the arrow like in half as it's coming at me.
And then
All
the
right.
half of the arrow that has the tip on it goes flying towards my
Yeah.
friend over there in the corner.
No.
No. So you're successful with that, and then Juice yells, well, 3's a lucky number, right? If you can do it 3 times, you're good to go.
Yeah, that sounds good. That sounds good. All right. You roll first because I have to beat what you get. Okay. 16. All right, easy.
All right. Okay.
That hits.
That's only 30. Yeah, it's only 30. All right. Give me something good. All right.
Oh my gosh.
Ooh. Oh.
And then I get +1 because of point blank, right? So it does 7 damage.
You did do some recovery overnight, right?
Yeah, I recovered most of my health from like healing and potions.
You got sand blood where like you get better the more you die, right?
Okay, we gotta keep going. I just stick an arrow into my like shoulder.
All right.
All right, again.
They say 2 out of 3. You're 1 for 1. So one more go, and we'll see if it's worth it.
2 out of 3. Yeah.
So when she sees you like go to level your bow at Bahir again after just shooting him, Bridget kind of like snaps out of it and is like, "Whoa, wait." But you go ahead and fire. Like, make your attack roll anyway.
Oh, no.
I was about to say, can I shoot her instead? 17.
Okay.
All right.
Bahir.
Oh no!
You're cooked, brother.
She jumps up off
7
the.
again.
Oh my god!
You're cooked.
She jumps up off the bale of hay, like fast as lightning, and like holds her shield up in front of you, and dong, the arrow like hits her shield. She's like, "What are you two doing?"
I got
training. What do you mean?
She's like, I don't know. I look. He's a foreigner. Whatever. We've all got our own fighting styles, but I don't think killing him is supposed to be part of the training.
I mean, I already died once. All right, it's fine.
Like, I'm not killing him. I'm helping him build character.
I gotta get better so I don't die again like I did yesterday.
Yeah, if someone like me can kill him,
like,
he doesn't.
Speaking of not dying, you need to go and get medical attention now.
Oh, it's just a scratch.
So 14 damage.
No. She blocked it.
Okay.
Like her whole thing is like intercepting arrows and whatnot. Like, you've seen her do this before. Remember that was how the battle.
Right.
That was how the battle at the caravan started as well. Was her like intercepting a shot that was directed at somebody else.
But here it'll be like, oh, I just gotta pull it out and I'll be all right. And he'll like grab the arrow and go to like remove it.
Which you shouldn't do.
Make a
PSA
strength
in real
check.
life, do not
Okay.
remove objects that have been embedded in you.
Yeah, let the professionals do that. Don't ever actually do that.
19.
Oh my god, just stay. This is not, for legal purposes, this is not medical advice, but you should take a first aid training class wherein they will tell you to stabilize the object and seek further medical attention.
Not pull it out.
Use a donut, you donut.
19, you said?
Uh-huh.
So all right, so while she's like standing between the two of you, you just like like rip out the arrow. Roll d4. Okay, you take 2 additional damage as you like pull the arrow out. They're like, ah, and she's like, get off my training grounds now.
Ow, that hurt a little bit.
A little bit.
Okay,
She's like, take yourself to the church before I have you removed forcibly. This is not helping.
I mean, it's helping me, get better.
Clearly. And she kind of like gets behind you and like kind of like starts pushing you towards the like exit of the training grounds.
I'll go to the church and seek medical.
Can they heal
Advice.
right now?
She goes like stomping off to the offices at the base of the tower here and goes in there.
I hear your date didn't go very well.
No, it didn't. What the heck? I bet Drew's enjoyed it though.
Yeah, what's Druge doing there?
Well, I guess I was gonna say it as myself, but I guess I can say Druge's thoughts.
Sure.
As he's left at the training ground, he begins to think to himself, you know, that's probably the most effective I've ever been using my weapon. And it was against one of my friends. Any other time in combat, I was either missing or doing close to nothing to them.
Wait,
And then he walks away and goes back to
do you like follow us out, or like as she pushes me out?
Oh yeah, I'm behind you guys, so I was just gonna head back to like the front
Drew,
area
could you got any of your your stuff?
No, I think I'm out.
But we just woke up.
Yeah, I was busy doing stuff. You know, I use everything.
Okay. I'll just go to the church
I
then.
hope you get better though. Let me know how you feel later on.
Okay, will do.
All right, bye.
Druge, who has healing magic
Bye.
and just shot you, is just like GLHF, bro.
Okay, bye.
I'm gonna roll. Where is it?
Brutal.
What's it called? It's called like
What are you trying to do?
sense motive. See if he's telling me the truth here. That's a 14.
All right, can I roll something to combat that?
So what? Hold on. So you're lying to him about not having magic, and he's rolling sense motive to check that. Is that what's happening?
Yeah.
Yeah. Make a bluff check, Druge.
Yeah, I have a +2 to that.
Want to snooze? Or you want to take the ad?
Leave it
Good,
for
come
now,
on.
anyways.
I rolled the 13. So one less than him.
Yeah, mine's better. I know.
Yeah.
But here's not gonna say anything.
Okay.
But he's gonna give you a look to let you know that he knows that you're lying, and then go like walk to the church. But he's gonna start like limping a little more than he has been on his way.
Hold on. Before you do that, does it matter if he beats me by 1? Is it like in certain circumstances, it's like if you beat by 1, then it's like no matter what you win. But in other circumstances, it seems like depending on how much you beat or lose by, it's like kind of vary or dictates like
Yeah, a little bit.
degree.
But yeah, for
So
that
is
sort of
this-
thing, you just have to win. I guess if if his
Okay.
kind of request of like what do I sense out of that had been more specific, then I'd say that needs a higher DC. But that was just straight up like you are lying, and he won, and he
Okay.
sensed that you were lying.
Mhm.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So he limps away, exaggerating
Yeah.
his injuries.
Wait, don't pass me. Don't pass me.
First of all, he limps away, exaggerating his injuries, and then Drews looks at him and is like, "Didn't I shoot you in the arm or the shoulder? Why are you limping?"
Ugh.
While this is happening, like I'm assuming like my
Still
time that I
itching
did
from
with
yesterday.
all that is finished. And like I'm coming to get Amina, and I pass all this happening. I'm like having some divine belief that what happened at the fountain has like made me this great, better person, just like it did Rosalind. I'm like remembering what my dad taught me, like during my training in Paladin camp when I was young, thinking like now I have divine power again. And I'm like, okay, you're here. What happened?
Dude shot me with a cross with his bow.
I overhear that. Oh, he told me to shoot him. Okay. He told me to shoot him.
Come here. I'm feeling Like I can do something about that. I'm gonna try to use lay on hands that I don't have, but just feeling that I think I can. I can just like hold my hand on where it looks like the arrow went, and just like stand there for like the longest time trying to use lay on hands.
My shoulder.
That reminds me of the Patrick from SpongeBob the episode where they're in Sandy's little dome, and he goes, "Two, open sesame." Like the door doesn't open. That's what I pictured as soon as you said that.
Oh my gosh.
I wish
It's working. It's working. Just stay still. I got this. It's gonna work.
I really don't feel anything, Alondite. I don't know.
I wish I was walking by right now so I could press the digitation, some little sparkles around his hand.
Nothing.
I think I need to go to someone who knows what they're doing.
You know what I'm doing is just it's not doing what I want it to.
All you're doing is getting the blood to come out more.
You should take your finger out of it.
I'll just put my finger in. Like, if you stop the bleeding and like start poking it, it'll make it feel a little bit better.
I'll push you away. That's enough. I'm going to the church.
I don't think anyone's available right now, but
someone will be.
And then Juice runs up, like, wait, hold on. All right, I'll take care of you.
Okay.
And so, he begins to cast Cure Light Wounds. But he's not as graceful as he's done it in the past. He was inspired by the poking and prodding of Alondite. And so as he begins to cast, he lays his hand on the wound. And he like lays his hand on his shoulder, but then he sticks his thumb inside the wound. And he's like, shh, it's part of the process. It's part of the process.
Okay.
and then he heals him. So let's see what we got.
We are at ad break, by the way.
Hey.
He heals for 8 or 9. I mean, he heals for the damage that was done, so it doesn't matter what it was.
Well, I don't think Bahir wasn't quite full health yet anyway,
no.
so yeah.
Oh, okay. Heals him for 8. All right, how you feeling?
I feel better. I feel better.
yes,
Thank
that's what I
you.
was trying to do.
Yeah, I know you were trying to do, but next time just try harder, I guess, or try to do something else. I don't know what to tell you.
Maybe
I'm gonna go
you
wash my
should
thumb
go.
off.
Maybe you should go take a lap with all the fountains on it instead of just the one.
Yeah, I thought I could speed run it.
Yeah, just like play like leapfrog, like jump from one into the other and the other.
Do you guys think I should have gone for justice? I feel like I should have went for justice.
I don't know what any of them means. So
Damn, I didn't know what I was looking at.
I don't know. Maybe you should go for the one with passion. It seems like the one you can get away with the most stuff.
So then I start like breaking out into like all the different teachings of the archangel. It's like, well, then you have the now.
All right,
you have-
and that's when Drew starts walking away.
Anyway, so I have something I have to do, Alondite. So
I just keep talking about me personally. I like Shannon to know.
That's nice. And here we'll walk away.
Oh my gosh.
That's nice.
That's nice. And I'll go.
Here, do you know where?
I'm like walking,
You know
following
where-
behind. It's like Chan has a gauntlet fist. I think it's like looks really cool when you put it on a shield.
All right, and then Drew starts sprinting.
What are you saying, Drew?
Sprinting through the town. Roboto, where are you? Hello, Roboto.
I'm gonna make my way to the tavern.
As Rouge gets out of earshot of Alondite, you hear something about a car and a warranty.
I'll save money if I switch right now.
Okay, where's Bahir going?
I'm going to a tavern.
Okay.
And I'm following, but looking for Roboto at the same time,
Okay.
or screaming his name. Not screaming. That's like, I'm shouting his name.
Calling for Roboto.
Yeah, does
calling.
Skabosh or Alondite have anything else you especially want to do, or are you guys going to end up at the tavern?
I'm going to go talk to my guild leader about the word. I don't know if any of my guildies are there.
Sure.
Kind of meeting. Eventually, here and I do have to exchange gear, and I do need to get my. What is it?
I figured we'd do that when we get our reward stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just out of curiosity.
I was just saying it might be a little easier if you zoom out a little bit. You're like flying through building after building after building.
I don't know where I'm actually going. So.
Oh, okay.
Well, I always forget where.
Well, yeah, I mean, eventually we want to get that on the actual map, but broadly speaking, we've been
like somewhere around here, I think.
Yeah, kind of.
That's fine.
A bit further south of there. Go ahead and hit N to get it to stop cutting the walls off like that. On the way by, you come across, you go past the town crier, who's like, walking around, like, cupping his hands to his mouth periodically and like yelling about what happened at the church.
Well, I already knew what happened.
Well, right, but
what's he say? I paid him good money.
Oh God.
Remind me exactly what it was that you were trying to get him to do.
To paint Bridget in a better light than whoever the other lady was. Rosalind.
Got it. Yeah, Rosalind.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I guess you're not down there, but yeah.
No.
So Bahir's not down there, but for the sake of you knowing, you go by and or as Skabosh goes by, you hear the town crier, and the way that he's describing it is more of like it's like the marshal like puts petty differences aside and bends the knee in celebration of the miraculous events at the church, and like kind of like doing what he can to kind of.
I just laugh as I run by.
Doing what he can to kind of make it sound like it was more amicable than it was.
Good.
I'll relay that to Bahir later.
Okay.
All right, I go through the usual rigmarole to get into my guild hall. Secret password.
Right.
As per usual, walk into my guild leader's office because I'm relatively high level. So I mostly get away with doing that.
Yeah, it's things are a bit busier around the guild hall than maybe sometimes, as people are coming and going with a combination of information and a little bit of looting that they've done. Your guild has, for the most part, at least, elevated itself from stealing from the citizens of Capstone directly and whatnot. But there's probably a little bit more of a morally gray area around like the looting of the orc bodies and whatnot that people were instructed not to do.
Of course.
That's not exactly taking
I
from the
looted
people of
and I
Capstone,
shouldn't have, so I don't care.
So you see a tidy stack in kind of the central area of like orcish sized and constructed like armors and crossbows and falchions and such.
I just smile as I walk. Go into Braun's office.
Okay.
Ron, did you hear the news this morning?
He's mostly reassembled his office and is in kind of his signature feet up on the desk, hands behind his head position, looking pretty pleased with himself as they've managed to pick up probably a couple hundred golds worth of stuff out there. Like, I've heard a lot of things this morning. Do you have good news for me also?
Anybody from the guild who can prove they helped and go get their record expunged by doing some paperwork. Should we choose it?
As you're talking to him, he's standing there. He's more of a dagger kind of guy himself, but he's got one of the orcish falchions and he's kind of trying to like swing it around and whatnot. He kind of grimaces at it, like this thing's too big and unwieldy, and
they're unbecoming a rogue, to be honest.
Kind of plops it down on his desk and he's like, well, it's money nonetheless. A little birdie did tell me about that. I heard there was quite the ceremony out at the manor.
There was. Also, we might be able to expand a little bit. Alondite's been given a fort that we'll be building.
He like takes his feet up off his desk and leans forward. Steeples his fingers and kind of leans his chin on them. And he's like, well, really now? So Alondite wants to take us in, huh?
I mean, if he takes me in.
Well, I mean, he's always turned a bit of a blind eye for you. Let's be
obviously,
honest.
some of us should be able to come with.
Kind of ponders for a second. He's like, well, I suppose it would be hard for even Alondite to object to people with expunged records.
I was thinking we can set up a tavern. Those usually have basements, cellars. Might be a good base of operations for a satellite group.
What size of fortification are we talking here?
That has yet to be determined, right?
Correct. Yeah, that's the other thing that we need to get to today, like IRL. So we need to be a little bit careful with our pacing.
But I can keep you apprised if it's big enough.
Like, well, never let it be said that Braun turned down an opportunity to hide something in a dingy, wet root cellar. Yeah, keep me posted, and I suppose what exactly were the requirements for getting this expungement?
As long as you can prove that you helped, which I do believe a good chunk of us did, and there were witnesses.
Like, well, yes, and I'm sure we can scare up some helpful witnesses for a few extra folks that may not have been quite as directly involved.
Also, one of the paladins seems to have been blessed by an archangel. I witnessed that with my own eyes.
I have no idea what to do with that piece of information. What do you mean blessed? Like,
an angel being person showed up in the courtyard, struck her with some kind of fire, and then called her a knight of the faith. We should probably keep an eye out for that. I don't know what it means, but it might not mean well for us.
I will have to look into that.
The one called Rosalind.
And you said you saw this yourself. This isn't just some, informant looking to make some extra coin.
I saw it, as did one of my party members. who is not a member of the church.
He raises an eyebrow at your vagueness and is like, uh-huh. But he makes a little note on parchment on his desk.
This is one of the ones that doesn't agree with Bridget either. Be some sort of tension between the two of them. Don't know if that's useful information, but just a heads up.
Oh, I think maybe you and I had a small misunderstanding there. He was commenting on your vagueness as far as what other party member was with you.
Yeah, no, I was just reporting another thing.
Yeah, got it.
I just glossed over the vagueness part.
Got it.
I'm just giving a report, essentially.
Right. Okay.
My job.
Like, yeah, I'm not familiar of any other knightly orders beyond, those loyal to the crown, but that could spell out some juicy political drama, I suppose. Which, where there's contest, there's profit, I suppose.
I'll try and figure out what exactly a faith. What is it called?
Knight of the Faith.
A Knight of the Faith means. Maybe I'll ask Alondite. He might know.
Yeah, maybe it's more of a turn of phrase. I've never heard of that before.
I don't know. I just know that she caught on fire, and then she was fine.
Again, he's like, uh-huh.
Oh no, it happened. I could bring Druge by. He might be able to tell you more.
I don't think Druge has been there yet, has he?
He has not. Druge is a half orc who can also heal people. I'm making all sorts of interesting magical friends.
Yeah,
now.
as you're like blurting out all of these like names that he doesn't know and like making claims about things that he's never heard of, he kind of stops and like crosses his arms and he's like, "Been drinking more of that horrid potato drink, have you?"
Oh no, I literally had to use all of that to set a boat on fire.
Like, well, I'm glad you found something useful to do with it.
We're gonna work on the formula. I mentioned the strainer part.
Yes, you do that. I have some business I should probably attend to. Also trying to figure out what to do with that ball that you brought back for me. It's seemed to feel the same.
I mean, I have a guy who could look at it, but he also might make off with it. I don't know if we want to he likes his magical items. He might try and trade you for it, but if we don't want to give up on it, he might,
I suppose you're talking about your little friend there.
Yes, my little wizard
down
friend.
To like knee height. Like shorter than Rubato, actually.
Yes. He knows magic.
Yeah, I don't think I want to just hand that off to anybody. The Marshal and I might not always have our goals in alignment, but I do think that she's a respectable enough person. Not so sure about he who, the father of the chunky vodka.
Rubato's pretty. He's pretty on the up and up. He just likes his magic item, especially books. He really likes his books. He does some things to get those books from places they shouldn't be.
Yes, I've heard. I'm afraid I don't have many of those to offer in trade, but I certainly don't want to give up on any destructive devices like that. Although at the moment, and he takes it out and kind of like hefts it in his hand like he had done before, and he's like, "It's strange. It feels not lighter, but lesser somehow."
But it is indeed the thing that you gave Bridget.
As far as I can tell.
I'll see if I could find. Wonder if he has something in one of his books. I'll find out and I'll come back. Don't forget though, records expunged. potential to expand. I just kind of leave the room. He's used to that. I make my way to the tavern.
Okay. Yeah. As you go to like leave the room, you just kind of wind your way through the other folks about the guild hall and whatnot, and then you see like Braun goes like running out like past you.
Maybe I follow him. He's running. I think I kind of run after him to be like, hey, like, are we needed somewhere? You're moving kind of fast.
Like, well, you do you, but I'm not waiting for this milk to expire. He goes like running over to the like administrative or towards the administrative offices to.
Did he even tell other people about it?
No, not yet.
Actually, yeah, maybe I should go do that before I go to the tavern. I head over to the administrative place to get my paperwork done, and then I go to the tavern.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, he's not like sprinting, but he's making haste. Camrats are not helping.
Sorry.
Okay. So, all right. So, yeah, the two of you show up at the you get led into the camp and go to the administrative office and try and kind of like plead your case, but the captain that's there right now just kind of like gives you a hands on hips like as you're like telling your story, and then they're like, from what I understand, the instructions were clear. You needed to have you need to bring in some sort of like supporting evidence or witness in support of your claim before I can sign anything.
I literally set a boat on fire and hit a bunch of orcs with it.
He literally gives you a thumbs up. He's like, awesome. I'm sure somebody saw you do that then. And I would be happy to fill out the paperwork as soon as you find that person.
Wait, Braun, we need to go to the tavern.
As soon as you say like, wait, Braun, he's like, no, you don't count for each other either. It has to be
No,
not-
Braun, we have witnesses at the tavern. Trust me. I know that's where my friends all are, and two of them at least work for the town. I kind of grab his like sleeve and kind of try and pull him towards the door to head to the tavern.
Okay.
Hope that, Rouge and Alondite are
Right. Yeah. So you guys all meet up at the tavern, and then just a quick, kind of meta note. We've got an hour and a half or maybe a little bit more to go, and we do want to get through our castle rough draft as well. So just keep that in mind for your scenes. Not you specifically, just all of you.
Alondite, Rouge.
I'm not there yet.
Hello?
Rouge.
Heck.
Well, I mean, it was a half an hour, not a half a day. So I think at this point you're probably done with what you were doing with Rosalind.
You guys were witnesses
Suit
to
shopping.
Oh,
my
gotcha.
Lord.
Okay. Yeah.
Fine. Rouge at least witnessed me doing what I did. I need a witness to provide statement that I in fact helped defend the town. Can you help me?
For who? Are they here right now?
They're at the administrative building.
1 second.
What's in it for me?
Rouge, my friend, I have been.
I'm kidding.
I just say I've been defending you from the start when you joined our group. Figured that would help something. Who? Oh, crud. We don't have anyone for Braun though.
I mean, Braun was with the
That's
too,
not
wasn't he?
true. Okay, well, hold on. When I dropped, okay, when Druge dropped the stone and became exhausted, and then the crowd of people showed up, like how there was like the little gnomes on top of the house or whatever. and Was Braun a part of that group while I was over there, like
He was,
watching
yes.
Okay.
us and the orcs fight? Because then I can vouch for both of them.
Okay. Yeah.
And for anybody else, it's a part of your clan or whatever. I watched all of them fight the orcs after I squashed them with the rock.
Perfect. Okay.
But I might, Drew might need a little bit of cash from the other guys because I don't know the other guys. You know what I'm saying? Just saying. Just saying.
I will find cash to give you for them.
I'll do it.
Okay.
I'll do it for free, Skabosh. I mean,
Thank you, Izzy. Just in case you missed the message.
At the ball.
All right. Well,
You're not here right now. You're metagaming. You're not here now. Okay.
So Bahir will do
I
it
am
for
here.
free.
what do you mean? We
And-
came together.
Could you guys just come just really quickly come to the admin building and just tell them that we helped? That's all you gotta do.
Sounds good.
And then I will buy the next round of drinks for you guys. How about that?
Okay, that sounds.
Oh hell yeah!
Okay, we can kind of fast forward that a little bit, but what I will say is when you show back up over at the admin offices, and you're there, kind of going down the list and vouching for this person and that person and whatnot. While you're there, Braun comes and kind of like almost superhero pose, like presents himself in the door, like and then like followed in by him as his witness is a still somewhat beleaguered looking Bridget.
Oh my god, Bridget.
Because of course he gave her the orb, so
Yeah. All right. Well, here are our witnesses. Hi.
all right.
Okay. Are we pretty much done here? Because
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, it's like we can if you really want to do
No,
some
no.
bureaucratic role play, but I think we can skip that.
Yeah, as soon as Jules walks in, like, yeah, I was there. They sent me off on a burning boat by myself to go fight off a group of orcs, and they just stood on the boat behind me and watched idly. I was there.
Rouge.
I asked them to come along with me, and everyone was like, "No, you're crazy. You can do it by yourself." And then I had to jump off the boat, and they had to come get me. But they were there.
As you're talking and doing that, like Bridget, she doesn't like shoulder past you or anything, but just kind of like slips in past on the desk and like grabs one of the sheets of paper and like gives a flourish on the bottom of it and hands it to Braun and like rolls her eyes at him as he like kind of like poses one more time and then she leaves.
Nice. Well, I mean,
So you're actually like saying that. All right. Well, so then the captain is like, well, really, this I mean, so he's saying that you were there, but I don't know if I'd call that particularly helpful.
I
Oh,
firsthand
no,
saw her
she
kill like
she
5
helped.
orcs.
thank you, Bahir. Thank you.
I'm just
You're
bitter
welcome.
because nobody wanted to go on the boat with me and potentially sacrifice their life. It's okay. They helped.
I'm
just
trying to remember,
bitter.
why didn't I get on the boat? Sorry,
I don't
suspending
remember.
roleplay real quick.
I'm
I'm
not
trying to
sure.
remember why I didn't get on the boat.
Because I think you didn't get on because you were shooting at the orcs in the other boat.
Oh yeah, that's right. I was shooting and running out of
like,
arrows.
That was what you could do versus like possibly maybe roll high and like help her out the boat. But
Okay,
Mhm.
that would explain it.
Okay. And then let's give Alondite a chance really quickly to do whatever it was that you were thinking, and then we'll take a quick stretch break, and then we'll come back and try and wrap up any other interactions and get to your strongholding.
How does one quickly tuxedo gem shop?
Sorry, say again.
How does one quickly tuxedo gem shop?
What is a tuxedo gem?
He needs to put gems on his
yeah.
his armor Remember?
Oh, well, not on his armor. It's yeah, he needs his signets of nobility or whatever.
That thing.
That is so those will be given to you when they come to perform your actual accolade.
What? I have a note thingy for. I have to go get them myself. I have my suit or whatever. I just need to go to a gem store to get the stuff.
Yeah, if I recall,
But Capstone
correctly,
doesn't
he
have
received
any.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was told he had to acquire the gems himself.
Right. Yeah. Sorry. I had two minds on that when we first did it, and it was a while ago.
Was.
Yeah, you need to either have a jeweler. Sorry.
A bedazzler.
Yeah, I assumed that's what he meant. That's how I heard it, at least, was a bedazzler. Alondite, the bedazzled oathbreaker. You've only bedazzled the buttocks of your armor. Like
Does it
those
say
jeans
pink?
with the the little
Like, my
rhinestones on
nobility stuff
the
have
pockets.
Tassels or tailcoats or tails.
Yeah, so you need to I mean, there might potentially be somebody here in town, but Capstone is not an area that is known for its like mining or minerals or precious gems or ores or whatever. So you might be able to find something here, and you can make a gather information check to try and locate something. But otherwise, you would need to either travel yourself or, send like a dispatch, like hire a messenger. I mean, heck, right? You're about to recruit like actual staff for your fort, right? So you could even potentially like send. Like hire like a butler or something, like dispatch them on your behalf to go and buy them.
I thought the city was going to. I thought the quartermaster was going to put an order in for them, and they were coming here along with his clothes. I thought that's what happened. Is the quartermaster was like, "Yeah, we don't have anything like that here, but we're going to put an order in."
I legitimately don't remember, so I'm going off of what you guys are saying. I thought that they were being brought for the ceremony, but my memory was just incorrect. It was like a year ago.
Yeah.
Let me go through my notes. Pin it and rewind or fast forward.
Because like I had asked about like getting clothes and stuff also, and he told me the same thing about like, oh well, you'd have to get them from like outside the city, and like we'd have to like get them ordered and like delivered here.
Okay. Well, for the sake of time today, like that's probably not something that you're going to get in hand in game today. So for IRL today, let's couch that, and we can come back to it and try and sort out the details of whatever has gone wrong here in our various notes.
Yeah,
I'll make a note as well that just says like noble gem, whatever. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. In my head, I like what was saved here, which, like I said, may or may not be correct, I suppose. But I thought that they were being brought as part of the ceremony was what I was planning.
I will find the note for you somewhere eventually.
Yeah, that's fine. Like I said, we can handle it later. We don't need to log down today for that.
Yeah. I will, anyways, yeah, I will head to the tavern.
Okay. So in that case, I guess other than the obvious Stronghold stuff, what all are you guys hoping to accomplish after the break here? We can kind of work on pacing.
I'm planning on like bringing up like going and getting our rewards from defending Capstone.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm just here for the ride.
Sorry, Drew, that was kind of quiet.
I was
Make
just saying,
a
I'm just here for the ride.
Gotcha.
I'm ready whenever you guys are.
pit stop at Pixie's parents' house at some point. Oh, I found it. Received courtier outfit and 15 gold claim for jewelry.
Mm.
Okay. Okay. So getting with with Pixie's family, we might save that for the next session unless there's anything specific to what we're trying to accomplish during session today. Sweetie?
Yes, that's fine.
So yeah, mainly collect rewards then in various formats. Okay. Cool. Yeah, we can do that. So let's take like a 5-minute break. Just try and be back shortly after 30. Stretch, get some water, do whatever you got to do, and then we'll come back and wrap up. No later than 8 was kind of what we talked about was our time frame for today. So
See you soon.
Sounds good.
We shall return.
yeah, thank you guys for hanging out, and thank you so much for being here, Slythar. It's been a pleasure chatting with you. I'm assuming you're having fun since you're still here, so thank you. Feel free, if you guys have any other questions or anything, even if you've just been lurking, as you can see, we like to be pretty active in chat, so we're happy to answer any questions or whatever. We're just going to take, like I said, a few minutes. We'll be right back. If you haven't been up off your booty in a little while, I recommend that you get up, move around as well, and we'll get back to it here in just a couple minutes. 3.5 is your bag. I love 3.5. I've played 3.5, a very little bit of 4, but not really, functionally not very much. Obviously, it's played 5, and I've played Pathfinder 1 and 2 as far as versions of D&D. Pathfinder 2 is probably my second favorite. But for me, still nothing holds a candle to 3.5. I just love how detailed it is. And, like 3.5 specifically, it has like a certain feel to it, like it feels kind of gritty and it feels grounded in reality and it feels like it's trying to represent a realistic world. And it has so much more customization and whatnot as a result of that. But for us in our game, as you're probably kind of picking up on, this is a lower level, lower power, lower magic campaign, going for kind of a Lord of the Rings-esque vibe where the things that might be considered more like mundane in normal D&D are dangerous. Like the town almost fell to an army of orcs. So for us, beyond the fact that I personally like the mechanics of 3.5, I think the way that 3.5 represents like the world fits really well with this kind of like grittier, dangerous homebrew setting that we have. All the different classes. Yeah, all the classes, things like skill tricks, alternative skill features. Of course, if you get a little bit higher level, prestige classes, there's so much to it. I love 3.5. And God, I so want to spoil this, but we have a special 3.5 surprise D&D project coming to our YouTube. I'm hoping to post it next week, but if not, the week after. It's unlike anything we've ever done before. I don't have a better way to promo it, but I am super, super. Are there any scenes or interactions or whatever that you specifically are wanting to role play out here at the tavern, or was this just kind of the way to finally get everybody together and kind of move with reward collection?
I was thinking mostly the second one.
Yeah, tried to get people together.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm thinking, obviously when Pixie got, I don't know, she's on a side quest again. But when she gets back, we can kind of like set the scene in character, but I'm thinking that probably the faster way to do the actual stronghold design stuff is going to be out of character.
Sounds good.
Because if we get into obviously you'll still advocate for my character would want this, I think that's cool, whatever, but I think if we remove the trying to speak in first person aspect of it, it'll streamline things a little bit. Otherwise, we'd probably need a whole session. Izzy, do
Yeah.
it. All right. I'll write it down so we don't forget, because it actually does legitimately sound like kind of a fun idea.
We'll work on the gameplay mechanics later.
Probably just be a collectible thing to start with, but like a fun way to pre-sell doubloons for people. But yeah, we'll come up with something.
For anyone asking already, no, this cannot be phallically shaped.
Oh.
Make a toast to the recently deceased. Yeah. Oh my gosh, now there's an ad break coming. Okay, whatever. We'll just run it and get it out of the way. Since Pixie's still getting distracted.
Oh, I wasn't worried.
I'm sure you can hear him.
Oh, yeah. Them? No. Amlas shouting at them? Yes.
Also, you're thinking for your custom sound, getting me to sing your theme song. Oh, yeah. I would not consider myself much of a singer, but I'm happy to do what I can.
If not, I'll sing it for you.
Right now, what I have. Yeah, thank you for the idea, Izzy. I am happy to give it a shot. What I have currently going through my head over and over and over and over is Rocket's Fault. Is the for those of you that have Disney Plus or that are up to date at all, the Witch's Road from Agatha All Along.
No idea what that is.
Down.
All right, I've returned. Sorry, I was feeding Babu and checking on the food that I'm making.
Our quick 3 to 5 minute break ended up being 25 minutes.
Sorry.
Part for the course.
Well, I mean, I did come back, and then I was like,
If
oh
by
crap, I
party
have to
you
feed
mean,
Babu.
But then you left again, yes.
Yeah.
Agatha All Along is a follow-up to WandaVision. If you don't know what that is, then that's probably going to take longer to explain than we want to take for right now. But it's been pretty fun. But for me personally, I love minor key music and I like folk music because I like things like call and response and rounds and whatnot. I think that's a very cool sound for acapella, and like all of that happens to come together in Witch's Road song.
Mm.
All right, so 30 seconds left on the ads, but that's fine. You can get into meta mindset here really quickly. What would you like to do to kind of sing yourselves off for the session, if you will, in character? There was a suggestion of toasting to the fallen or something like that, which I think would be nice to do. Obviously any other conversations or anything that you guys want to have with each other in character, talking about the day's goings on. Obviously, I mean, Rubato doesn't even know a lot of the days going on, so that's a good opportunity to kind of recap and fill him in and whatnot. But think if there's anything else that your character wants to accomplish before we kind of switch to pseudo in character mode to do some business.
Who's the last one to arrive into the inn?
Probably me.
Yeah, probably Skabosh.
I was doing paperwork. Bureaucrats,
Skabosh.
they like their paperwork. Yes, Skabosh was last in. Oh,
Skabosh to do paperwork? That sounds very out of character.
wow. It expunged my record, though.
I was working on that. It's just taking time.
I know. This was a fast track. I mean, I was gonna wait, and then Braun was going, and I was like, well, I might as well go too then. So I went.
My camera's gone. That's not my fault.
We
Oh,
lo-
it is
we-
my fault. My lights. What happened?
Yeah, I don't know. What'd you do?
Oh, snap. Something went wrong.
Wait, something broke today? No way. I don't believe it.
Thank you, Amlas.
Has Roboto already been drinking? He's dancing on a table already.
Yeah, he's when you guys get there, he's already singing a jaunty tune.
Roboto, how much have you had?
How much of what?
You're already dancing on a table.
Well, they were enjoying my tunes. Look at this gentleman over here in the green.
All right.
He's having a blast.
I order a round for the group since I said I would do that.
Okay.
I'm too short. I need a chair.
Oh, I actually do. What did I lose? No, I lost something. Oh well. If I don't know what it was, it's not important.
Was there something you were trying to accomplish, Amras, when because you asked who was the last person?
Just to set the atmosphere, like we're all kind of arriving at the bar. You set like a meeting tone of like kind of saying, all right, we're all here. We're all alive. How's everyone's mood?
Well, Bahir died at least once.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm still kind of freaking out about that, but
Oh, that's
And then he almost drowned.
and then I almost drowned. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, no. What
Things have been
happened down
horrible
there?
for me since I got this breastplate.
There were these like weather witches. These like god. They were casting spells on the water, and like every time we killed them, it distracted them, and like rain and stuff, and the water rose. Then Bahir just turned around and walked off the boat randomly, and
One of them made me feel weird, and
it.
then threw me off the boat.
Then we had to like drop the anchor for him to try and climb up. It was just
Yeah.
bedlam.
That's not something minor.
Terrible.
That's
I killed like 5 of them though, so it helped.
Yeah, we did great.
Skabosh, that's great. 1 second. Be here, you just did what?
Yeah, he turned
Yeah.
around and walked on. We don't know. I don't know what happened.
And then before that, our wonderful elven friends pretty much succeeded in killing me.
Yeah, this just
I don't think you're understanding just how miraculous that is. If like what just happened
I know,
happened.
it's crazy.
yeah, we don't really know what happened.
Like that orc
You need
like
to-
came down and like stabbed me in the chest, and down I went, and then all of a sudden I felt fine. I was fine.
Would you
It was
mind
weird.
like going to the chapel and just explaining what you felt?
I would rather not.
Do you know how many people would not love, but just want to understand what you went through, just to be on the other side and then come back? What did you feel? What was it like, other than, I assume, pain and
I
suffering?
mean, I don't know why you would assume pain and suffering, but
You died. Are we not understand?
I don't want to talk about it. Okay, let's just move on. Where are those drinks at?
How many people have you seen die and come back?
This
I've
is the
seen one more.
first for me.
It's worth pointing out too that it was Elithril who like brought you back. Well,
Oh, yeah,
Elithril's
that-
actions at least that led to you coming back.
Yeah. One of the elf helpy people did something, and then he was awake. It was kind of weird.
Rest.
Yeah, after the other one stabbed me in the back 4 times.
It's an accident. You really need to not take it so personally.
Okay, 2 times is an accident, but 4 times I
It was only
questioned.
twice.
Roboto, how's it going, friend?
I'm
just gonna change
doing
the subject. How are you doing after all this?
fine.
This is like a divine revelation and requires further study.
We can study it after we're done having fun drinking and relaxing.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
We also have rewards to
This
go
is not
get.
just a minor point.
No, we'll go over it before we leave town.
If you wanted to talk to a dead person, I can bring Stefan back again.
No, Menace.
That's not the same.
Roboto,
Yeah,
no.
you could just bring back Stefan. It's
No,
fine.
let's not do that.
As you can see, there's no
please.
corruption on Bahir. What you bring back is not natural.
I mean, it's just a dead guy.
What you call Stefan should not exist.
Roboto, no, we're not going to bring Stefan out in the middle of the bar. It's going to cause a lot of problems.
I didn't mean here. Like, at least in an in-room or
Yeah,
something.
Robato's not that crazy. Come on, guys.
Yeah.
If you bring him back, I will put him immediately into the ground again.
No, well, that's just
All right.
rude.
Anyway, we have like crazy
Where he
rewards that we
belongs.
got, right? Like Alondite got a whole fort. Like that's crazy.
Yeah.
There are definitely other, like, that is a whole.
What are
Alondite
your
got a
plans with this
whole
fort?
I don't want to be the one head of this, but here I am, and I am going to.
Oh, I
need
mean, you can give
your
it to
help.
me, Alondite. Though.
No,
That's how it works,
it's Alondite's fault.
Don't worry, we gotcha. I already have some things written out, Alondite. Don't you worry.
I mean, I've declared you my experts on other things before, and here I am again asking for your assistance. So
That's fair. Well, we would be happy to assist, I'm sure. Right, Dirge?
Yeah. Any way I can, as long as, maybe some money's involved.
I'm sure there will be somewhere.
Money.
You
or
realize
bed.
this is engraving us deeper into servitude of the city.
I mean, more like you, not us.
Where I go, you follow? Right? Right?
For now.
Yeah. I follow.
Where you
Yeah.
go, I look first. Both ways. And then if it looks safe, I follow.
You gotta watch out for those carriages.
Mm-hmm.
So about this fort. So should we jump out of character a little bit?
Yeah, I think so. You guys share your war stories. You raise your mugs a few times to each other's successes and honor the fallen and whatnot. And then as far as actual like rewards go, the cash like that was deeded to you like for your contributions is a total of 500 gold to the group. And I don't remember if never mind. I was gonna say I don't remember if we ever delegated a new person to deal with that, but never mind, we had a YouTube short all about that. So
Yeah.
I forgot where we landed, but whoever it is that's keeping track of that now, there's 500 gold there, and then each of you also is just like granted one like standard type item from the armory as long as it costs 250 gold or less. There's no within reason, some like exotic weapons and whatever, but there's not you're not going to get like good example,
A bag of holding.
yes. I mean that would be way too expensive anyway,
Way
but
more
yeah,
than
you're not going to get
250.
like a minor magical item or anything like that, but it could potentially be like a masterwork shield or or like a good a masterwork swords, unfortunately, but you might be able to spend some of your portion of the reward plus the credit to get a masterwork weapon potentially. So yeah, anything kind of like masterwork player's handbook items or less is like definitely on the table. If there's anything else in particular that you want to get into, then we can, if that makes sense to do.
Books of knowledge.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think they have any spell books by chance.
No, like I said, the armory. So this is it's the militia, like again, as they tend to do because they're a bit underfunded. Like often rewards are offered in kind versus in cash.
Mhm.
Oh, does me reacquiring my lance that I left on the field count as a reward?
I mean, I would doubt that. That was your lance, right?
Yeah, no, I mean, if we hadn't
would
already
that
spent a lot
bring
of time doing other stuff, I would do like a light like role play / have you go out and make some search checks or something. But yeah, I think like going out and getting your lance is something that can just happen. I think you knew right where it was, so either you could just go and get it yourself pretty easily, and or like most of the items other than the stuff that Skabash's guild is stealing are still getting funneled through the quartermaster. So
Yep.
You don't know about that part.
He
well,
goes
right,
out there to get it.
like we said, we're
But
talking kind
Coming
of
through
like
the gate with my lance, I could be like,
more out of character here than in character. So yeah, you can write that down, think about that a little bit. What sweetie, you the party got 500 gold like in cash, and then each person has the right to pick one item from the armory that costs 250 gold or.
Did you want that breastplate, Amaranth?
250 gold. Okay, I'll have to write that down and figure out what I want.
I do have to check through the armory, but I think it saves us money if I'm just going to end up getting something similar anyway.
You have arms in a
Okay, because you can have it if you want, because I'm going to be getting a masterwork chain shirt, which is 250 exactly.
Oh, is it? Nice.
Yes.
So what I was going to say for now, like write it down / like DM me on Discord or post it in our group chat or whatever, because that's not something that has to be done together other than
Okay.
you guys exchanging items. I figure that's an easy thing for us to do between sessions here. Whereas the Stronghold stuff is a little bit more of like a group thought process, I think. So I think we want to spend our time on that.
No question. Is there barding in the Stronghold?
In the Stronghold or in the Armory?
Armory, I assume.
Because the Stronghold doesn't exist. That's
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Rin fart.
no, you're good.
Yeah, the armory.
Yeah, I mean that sort of thing would be relatively standard issue, so to speak. So yeah, there would be barding there.
We're splitting up like what we get from the quest, right, between us, and then because I thought the party gold we used to put like the loot we get, right? Was that how we're doing it, or is it the other way around?
I mean,
Have we decided on bank yet?
I still
Or is it
contend.
Civil War.
I still contend either Druge, myself, or Rubato, if Rubato can hold it, should hold on to the party funds.
That's how that's fine if Rubato can hold it. But I mean, for like the quest gold, I thought when we got the like quest gold, we were gonna split that up anyway. And it was like loot and stuff that we found that we split out between people. Like
no
the
idea.
loot and stuff we found is what we put in the party fund. Right?
Got it. I see what you're saying.
And then
so
like the rewards we get from doing quests, we split between ourselves.
So split up 500 gold between 6 people? 5 people?
Yeah.
5
people,
each? Yeah. So 100 each.
Right, so we're just splitting it now?
Sounds like
Is that what I heard?
that is what I'm
splitting-
hearing.
Yeah, so the party gold is like when we get like loot and stuff and we collect it as a group. That money goes into the party gold, but like
Hmm.
the quest gold that we get for doing something, we get ourselves.
Sweet.
Well,
That's
obviously
what
you
we
can-
did last time anyway.
Yeah,
but like
and
we
you can
always
flex that
change
around
it.
however you want. You're not like locked into one method for the whole campaign.
Yeah.
100 gold? Wow.
Yeah, so if you're doing it that way, then yes, you get 100. Each of you gets 100 gold cash and not quite a credit, more like a waiver, I guess, worth up to 250 with the quartermaster.
I don't think the quartermaster's going to have much that's of use to me.
So if I didn't, like, would I be able to acquire the item and then turn around and sell it right away? Or
I mean, you could, but you sell items for half of their value. But
I
yeah,
mean-
if you just want cash, I mean, yeah, you could pick out like whatever the most expensive thing is, and then go to whatever store and try and be like, whatever, ham it up a little bit, right? Like, oh, this is the crossbow that helped defend Druge Harbor. Try and turn around and sell it for, maybe try and get 60% instead of the normal 50%. But yeah, you definitely could do that.
but I couldn't just be like, hey, I don't want a piece of armor, give me 250 gold.
No, because that's kind of the whole point. Is like they have limited funds, but they have I wouldn't say lots of equipment, but they have more equipment to spare than they do funds to spare. So. None says
You don't wear
bandages.
and
Lots of bandages.
you don't wear any armor, do you, Rubato?
That is a negative.
Or can you wear like light armor or no?
No, there's a special class you have to be able to cast
Oh.
magic.
Arcane magic specifically. All arcane spell failure.
Mm.
Like you can, but it comes with a significant drawback. Essentially,
Well,
the
you-
more cumbersome the armor is, it gives you a % chance to fail at casting arcane magic that has a somatic component.
Masterwork, I think, gets rid of some of that too, though,
It
right?
reduces the spell failure by, I think, 5%. I'd have to look at it to be sure. Or unless Slythar or somebody else. I think it's a 5% reduction. You could also, I mean, if it's not otherwise valuable to you, Rubato, you could also get an upgraded crossbow. You have to
That's
spend
true.
a little bit of your cash, but
I'll look and see what I can find.
yeah. And or you could do kind of like what Druge was suggesting and just get an item and then turn around and flip it.
If Amras doesn't want my breastplate, then I'm gonna try to sell it.
No, I think I'll take it and the next
Okay.
thing that would be better would be, I'm looking here, I'd have to go up to a half plate, which is 600 gold, which is, that's ridiculously expensive now. So breastplate seems to be the best option until 600 gold.
Slythar, we were talking about masterworking and how that affects our arcane spell failure.
Okay.
I think it reduces it by 5%, but I couldn't remember.
And then what were you using?
I'm using scale mail, which is only 50
Scale
gold value.
mail. Okay. Wait, wouldn't banded mail be better?
Except
Oh, you
the
have
armor.
Dex?
Yeah, the armor check penalty would make me lose all of that.
Gotcha. Okay. Sounds good. Oh, I get my move. Oh, I got to add that to my messages to Marcia. What I need to change on my sheet.
So you're going to take the scale mail and sell it, or do you want me to?
Yeah, I'll sell the scale mail.
Okay.
Maybe you should come with me and sell it. Be like, the newly knighted knight's armor that he used to defend the front lines of Capstone with.
Employee discount. Complete with oil smell. Well lubricated.
Actually, looking at the section on Masterwork Armor, it doesn't say anything about arcane spell failure. I thought it did affect it a little bit, but it
I
actually
couldn't
doesn't
find
mention it.
anything either.
Okay, so the breastplate is going from Bahir to Alondite then?
Correct.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, let me know when you're caught up with that, and then we'll go through the worksheet together there, so y'all can kind of see it.
I'm ready.
Swapped.
Yeah, and 20% is not bad. I think there is a relatively easily available, like maybe it's mithril. One of the exotic components I know for sure.
Yeah, mithril does. I'm looking at it right now, but I have a feeling they probably don't have mithril in the armor.
Probably not, but honestly, that would probably be more of a price issue than anything. I don't remember how expensive that makes it. All right, so get to if you can't get Jim. So yes and no. As this is also the actually I probably haven't shown you this yet. So we are at the town of Capstone, but to the northeast of this is the nearest dwarven kingdom. So Capstone is the trade route into the larger kingdom for lots of that kind of thing. So it's not that gems per se are unavailable, but as it's a frontier town, like kind of outside the mountain range that protects the rest of the kingdom, there's less like finished jewelry. Like there could be some gems, but they were specifically looking for set gems, like for jewelry stuff, which that kind of thing would be less. All right, and then I made a button. I gotta remember where I put it. Yes, exactly. So the raw material is very potentially available. Oh, wait, that's not supposed to cover up. Oh, I didn't think about that. That's unfortunate. Okay, hold on. I wanted that to be under us. So there's actually a public oh god, what did a public Google Drive that has admittedly not as much stuff as I want to get in there, but that has some info about the world and whatnot and the campaign. And in there, in the world building section, there's a little breakdown of the towns and kind of like what their economic specialties and whatnot are for anybody that's interested. There we go. And move it. I like to move it, move it. There we go. That way everybody else can see what we're doing.
All right. As we pull out logistics, I whip out this notebook and sheet of paper that I got, lay it on the table, and just like wipe everything off. I'm like, all right, here's what we got. Since you guys asked.
Okay. So, this comes from the Stronghold Builder's Guidebook. There are a couple of small tweaks that I made because there were a few things that I didn't think made a whole lot of sense. Like a mobile stronghold somehow being a price discount. It was like a pretty major, right?
Probably because it's like smaller or something.
Maybe, but like it's literally like a animatronic. I mean, like, I don't know. That seems like that should be a price increase, not a price decrease.
Or is it like you multiply it by a negative so it makes it a positive?
So I tweaked that and a couple of other little things like that as I went along because it's just like that doesn't. Yeah. But it's like 98% all the data from the Stronghold Builder's Guidebook. Like a couple of the other things were like personnel. No, not personnel. Well, yes, personnel, but personnel specifically as it relates to Stronghold components. It was like things like a chapel didn't require any sort of clergyman. I was like, but that's like how that works.
Well, I think maybe for the basic one, they meant like people would just go there, pray, and then leave.
Well, I assumed so, but given the price of it, that doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So like I added a shrine, which is not.
I am the church.
Like not a normal. So like shrine, which is line 19 under components, that didn't exist. Like I added that because I was like, okay, well, yeah, if you want to have like a basic little thing that people just pray at, but at that point, I'm assuming it's just like a stone table with like some candles and a little effigy or something, right? Like that doesn't cost that much. So yeah, so I made a couple of little common sense tweaks like that to it, but it's almost all right from the book. Our armor made with blended quartz has a negative 20% arcane spell failure chance. Wait, really? I did not know about that. That's freaking cool. Probably not something. Blended quartz would probably not be something that would just be in the militia's armory, but that's neat.
Yeah, that I was looking at similar things like that. I bet the cost for that is above the $250.
I actually have Arms and Equipment Guide handy right here.
Bang.
We have a full collection of all whatever it is 90-ish books that are first party publish for 3.5. All right, so how do we use this? The first sheet, the build cost and staff wages, will automatically total as we change things. So you don't actually do anything to that sheet. If you go to primary settlement, which is the next tab, that is like what is the nearest population center that is supporting this stronghold. So I put the whole table in there because we might as well, / who knows if we ever want to use this for anything else. But for our purposes, Capstone is a large town, and so the decision will just be how far away from that you do or don't want to be. So we'll come back to this before we make any decisions, but I just want to kind of walk. So the first decision is how far away you're going to be. Then actually let me move labors. There. Then climate and terrain is the next tab over. Warm is not an option. Again, I just put in all the data. So depending on how close to Capstone you are on the maps, again, Capstone is kind of in the northern part of the central barony, which is the temperate barony. So if you push your distance a bit further north, like more into the forest and like goblin territory, then that's probably going to put you into the cold climate. Versus if you're a bit closer to Capstone, then that'll put you in the temperate climate. biome. That again, a lot of those won't necessarily be available. And then immediate terrain features. So that's talking about things like literally right there at your fortress. So like, is your fortress like up against a stream, or on top of a hill, or like does your site will your stronghold control a source of income, or a potential source of income that's currently undeveloped, or whatever. So then we'll go through all that. Components is definitely the most in-depth one. Those are the actual components, for lack of a better word, that make up the stronghold. Like, what are the things that are there, as far as like what feet. Then labor is labor can be up to, or is up to 30% of the cost, or is 30% of the cost, so you can then try and negotiate for a discount. Normally I would cap that at like a fairly low percentage, but as you guys are the defenders of Capstone, we'll YOLO it. You can roll the dice, we'll see what happens. There are magical discounts. Again, we'll need to do a little bit of kind of role play and whatnot to determine if you can actually find anybody that can accomplish any of those things. But that theoretically exists. And then the last page is personnel. So everything that's in the minimum section, that will get automatically updated based on the stronghold components that you select. So some components, if you go back over there, have like a requirement. You're going to get a fancy bath that requires you to have a servant. So on the personnel sheet here, that'll automatically update. For minimum staff. The extra column there for additional is it maybe you guys are just like, I don't know, we're gonna be known for our awesome maid service. So you hire 10 maids or whatever. So like you can hire more staff if you want. There's just certain stronghold components have staff requirements.
We make them into battle maids.
I think I've seen where this goes.
How do you guys feel about goblins' workforce?
Fog of War, you thought? Oh, on the map. So that map is this map is an in-world map that is like relatively commonly available. So a person living in the Kingdom of Rin could, with relatively minor effort, acquire this map. So there definitely is more like to the world and the region and whatnot, but this would be the kingdom as commonly known.
The world as we know it.
I'd ask if you have a fever, Alondite, is what I would ask.
So the exact budget that you have to work with will be somewhat variable. And if I didn't realize how much in character you guys had that you wanted to do before this, which is totally fine. But so some of that we will hash out in character as well. This is kind of we're making like our shopping list. So there are some components that you'll notice if you go to the components sheet, column F is required, column G is additional. So because the crown is paying for the construction of this stronghold, they are mandating certain features be present. The stronghold exists to serve a purpose of extending the defenses of Capstone. So like you must have a barracks, you must have a minimum number of like troops on hand, you must have an armory for those troops, you must have a dining hall for them to eat at, etc., etc. So the F column, those are like, that's non-negotiable. Those are costs that are like, they're also being covered by the crown, so it doesn't like change anything per se, but that it'll show up in the total cost. So like right now, before you guys have added anything, the stronghold cost is you're not on the hook for any of that. That's being paid for by the crown, but that's how that one works. Then the G column, additional, that's going to be the stuff that you guys are adding. So you're going to be like, oh, I refuse to sleep in the barracks. You have to get me a bedroom. Or, you know, like whatever you guys kind of negotiate out with each other, then you would mark like, oh, okay, we're going to get, 2 bedroom suites, and then that'll add to the totals and everything.
It'll be cheaper if we don't want bedroom suites to just get them bedrooms, and then there's 2 of them anyway.
How many can
And that's
fit in a
700
bedroom suite?
So yeah, some of those details I'll have to look up for you as we go. So I just wanted to do a quick overview. So if we go to primary settlement, and then I'll pull up the map on stream. Obviously, the primary settlement is Capstone. 2,100 gold for the Bunny Quartz chain shirt. I mean, like, that's a lot, but also not that much for how like big of an upgrade that is. So oops, that's not the map I wanted. This one. The area that you have to choose from is essentially, as we talked about before, goes from the Serpent Spine Mountains, at about 10 o'clock from Capstone, and then going clockwise goes up to about 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock from the town of Capstone, so kind of north of the mountain. So you have about 4 hours, if you will, of the clock to choose from about, relative to Capstone, from about 10 p.m. to about from about 10 o'clock to about 2 o'clock on the clock. And then the distance from Capstone is one of the things that affects the price.
I'm thinking 11:55 from Capstone, right on the edge of the forest and the fog.
A nice spreadsheet. Thank you. I actually made this. It was a lot of work, and shout out to our buddy and fellow game master Thadris for helping me with the very final. Thank you. I appreciate the compliment for sure. Thadris came, and the very last formula, the one that auto calculates the personnel costs, I could not figure out how to get that formula working. So shout out to him for making that work. But all the rest of this, I'm super proud of.
I was thinking maybe we could build it by the mountain, maybe, and then we could do like mining or something possibly to generate some revenue for the forts. And I think it would be a good location. And normally, like, as you get closer to the mountains, it gets like more hilly. So if we build, I'm sorry, I am.
So what about just to the right of the S in mountains, at the base of the mountain?
So looking more at kind of like the foothills of the Serpent Spine Mountains, at kind of like 10:30 ish on the clock.
I think that's where he's.
Yeah.
What do you think, Alan?
Keep in mind, I agree with that. Keep in mind what a Moten Bailey looks like from what I sent earlier.
Yeah, I think that's why the little hills might work nice for that.
Yeah, because it'll get hillier the closer we get to the mountains, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then that would be good. And I noticed a tiny little thing.
Because we get a discount with hills, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
One of the numbers just deleted on the spreadsheet.
What's that?
One of the numbers. Oh, there it goes.
Oh dear. Yeah. Be very, very careful. Hold on. Let me undo things. Hold on. Don't be typing it. I think it might have been Druge. Can you hit undo? It looks like I can't undo your things.
I think he already fixed it. Oh.
No,
I'm hitting
something's
undo,
thrown off
but
the
nothing's
whole.
changing.
Hashtag value of shrine, maybe?
I hit my Windows key. I don't know if
There we
that's
go.
what
Whoever it
caused
was got it undone. Yeah, ideally I wanted to see if I could set this up to where you can like only modify certain cells and whatnot, but I ran out of time to do that. So just anybody who has it open, and I don't know if it actually was Drew's or not. I just saw Drew's name there. Just be very careful when clicking on stuff.
Sorry, I have to turn push to talk off. It was me. Like you can't push to talk when you have next cell sheet.
Oh.
Oh yeah.
It was something that
Yeah,
said, like,
it could also be me
so I had to undo.
Got it. Yeah, you hit tilde or whatever to push to talk, and then it messed up the formula. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, okay, so we have kind of a tentative clock position. How far away from town do you want?
We want to be close to the mountains right there, right?
Yeah, whatever the minimum distance, or I don't know, not minimum.
Well, we want to be like 16 miles, right? Would be, and then we don't have any cost mod.
Yeah, is that 16 miles on the map?
We get to the mountain.
It's probably pretty close. I'd have to get the actual measure out, but broadly speaking, the area on this map, and remember this map is a little bit stylized, so it's not quite perfect, but the distance from a like capstone to like the fog of war is it obviously varies a little bit too, but it's somewhere in the neighborhood of like 30-ish miles.
Okay, then yeah, that's about 16-ish if just from guesstimates. It's kind of halfway between the two.
What are we thinking about the 3 o'clock just off the S of mountains?
That was kind of what I was thinking, yeah.
Yeah.
So about 16 miles then?
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Which, given that that's, somewhat rougher terrain, that would be right about a day's travel.
That would be good. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's fitting.
Yeah, and that's kind of the minimum. Like they're wanting you to be at least a day's travel out. So you could be further, but you couldn't really be much closer. Okay,
right.
well in that case, I'll let Alondite do the honors on the primary settlement sheet. Go ahead and check the box in A11, the hamlet. So the town of Capstone is a large town of it was a couple thousand residents. That's the herd's been thinned a bit recently in the battle, but then the fort that they're building is going to be, it's called a Motte and Bailey, which is essentially a palisaded wall with a central building on like an elevated, usually amount of dirt, but if they're going foothills, it could potentially be, you could use the pinnacle of like a hill or whatever of rock, but essentially a palisaded area, the center of which is a building on an elevated earthwork.
Why couldn't it be a small city 17 to 48 miles away?
All right. So in this case, that's a cost mod of 0%, but that all of that like goes and automatically updates. So if you had selected something that had a price mod, then that would change this here. And as a result, also, so the crown has committed, they're requiring 6,700 gold of expenditure. But if you guys are somehow able to end up with, like a negative price modifier, so you're getting a discount, then like whatever that remainder is, you've essentially earned yourselves more money to spend on your discretionary stuff.
Do we have an amount to spend on the discretionary stuff as it is?
Well, that's sort of, yes. I wanted that to be role played a little bit, so you kind of like depending a little bit on your diplomacy, but approximately, pending the diplomacy roll and a little bit of role play and whatnot, in the neighborhood of 2,500.
Alondite, get your diplomacy helmet on.
So we'll circle back to that.
I have +2 in that.
So I would say you're not super far away from the town, but being closer to the mountains, you're much more in the like cold aspect of the region that you're in. So I think that would That would be in the cold climate. And then I don't think there's foothills specifically, is there?
There's hills.
Yeah, hills. Okay. Then hills makes sense. You're not trying to be like on the mountainside or so
No.
it wouldn't.
We want it built into the side of the mountain. Yes.
Dwarves.
As far as the immediate features go,
It's not mine.
there are nearby monsters because that's part of the reason why you're being commissioned to do this. If you're given the type of fort that you're making and how you're doing it in like the foothills, it's probably not going to be hidden from observation. The site is not a lawless area. Narrowing down the choice for you guys a little bit. Come back to those. The site is not in legal dispute. Sorry. So your remaining choices there as far as features go are the ones I've highlighted in. So a natural impediment would be something like, it's a particularly steep hill on the west side or something like that. So it's like harder to assail. There's a natural impediment to like accessing it, which is what makes it more expensive. Or natural barrier would be something like a river or something like that. Now, because of the way that we have our stuff mapped, I think like actual literal river is probably not feasible. If you do want to be near like a creek or something like that, I'd probably call that an impediment versus a barrier. Not as deep, not as wide, whatever. Or a natural vulnerability. Maybe it's actually on the low ground, but you want that price discount or whatever. Floods suck. You make a very astute observation. Yes. And then controls income source. So that is a developed income source. So like it's ready to go right now. Controls potential income source. I just ran out of room. Is like it has good arable land, but it hasn't, like, it would need re-clearing.
Well, we discussed the potential source income from the mountain. And I like the idea of like a creek or some sort of water source.
So potential and impediment.
That's kind of what
and
I'm
you
thinking.
you can repeat choose, which isn't really demonstrated well in the spreadsheet, but you could be like, hey, I want to find the perfect spot that's on a really steep hill on two sides with creeks on two sides, so there's natural impediments on all four sides, and I'm down with the paying the increased price. Like, you can do that, but obviously it impacts the price. And in fact, I think if you stack the same thing more like too many times, I think the price mod gets bigger.
I do like the idea of it being extra defensible, but that is going to cost some more.
Yeah, what are we looking at right now at a plus 2% so far?
From 6,700 to 6,834. So not a massive increase.
So we could add like 2% more, right? If we wanted another natural impediment, like we could have like
yeah, let me look up the actual description on that real quick and stack it. Your work is under. Wait, do you mean IRL? I know there's been a lot of Slythar. Do you mean in real life? Because I know there's been a lot of like water-based catastrophes recently.
we could like
Oh, geez.
have
I hope
like
everybody's
a particularly
okay.
rocky like side that might be hard to like climb up, maybe like a bit more difficult. Or another creek if we want.
Would that be considered a barrier itself or impediment?
I think it would just be like an impediment, right? Like not particularly like you'd have to get rope and
Yeah, like if we were at like the Y of a creek, one, that'd be just kind of cool, and two, it would give us
Yeah, you just build
protection
the
on
wall
side.
at the other side of the creek.
Yeah, that could be good.
Mess up. Oh, geez.
And then we could
And then
use
we
the
can make
creek.
people bathe in the creek and we don't have to build baths.
Yeah.
Big brain.
Yeah, for sure. But still, I mean, at a minimum, even with everybody being safe, that's still a big disruption.
Or is that what he's working on now?
That's what he's looking
I'm trying to
at.
find the description on stacking.
Because my first thought would be we would just uncheck natural impediment and check natural barrier, so we got the 4%.
Nearby unusual features also modify your stronghold's cost. A stronghold atop a mesa is harder to assault and thus more valuable, while one near an evil forest might be less valuable because it's constantly beset by monsters. With your DM's approval, you can build your stronghold near benign features, such as a consecrated shrine, or malign features, such as monster lairs. For terrain features, you can choose the same feature more than once to cover more than one direction if you pay an extra 8%.
Oh, that got intense quickly.
Yeah.
For
Maybe
example,
we
you can
don't
have a
want to do
river on
that.
both the north and east sides of your stronghold. It's also possible to mix good and bad terrain features. Land to the west of your stronghold could slope away, impeding natural movement, but be heavily wooded, making attacking easier, resulting in no net modifier.
Ooh, and that could work because then you could like force them into the front of your castle or fort.
Yeah. If we had one vulnerable side, if you will, and that was the front of the castle, that would more than likely be the direction we would get attacked from. That being said, I was just thinking I should probably get ready.
Oh, right.
Yep.
Yeah.
So, okay, for income, to narrow things down though, for income sources, it sounds like we're good with potential. What do you think as far as impediment goes? I mean, going from 2% to 10% for stacking things is pretty.
It sounds
Maybe-
like we're going with 2 impediments and 1 vulnerability, maybe.
If we did 2 impediments, it goes up to 10%, though.
Yeah. Maybe we get rid of the impediment. We could go with a barrier on like one side then.
Yeah.
Because if we were okay with 4% anyway, then like just go ahead and do the barrier, and then we know one side's going to be safer than the others, and then we can do the vulnerability
At the front.
also.
Yeah, we could have
Like, why are we picking the impediment? Because the barrier it would just be a rock wall or something. Because we're not going to get the river.
The impediment would be like a creek.
Yeah, and we're not going to get that river with a barrier.
Well, we could, but it would be like on different sides, and then the vulnerable spot up front, kind of thing.
Oh, so do all 3. So an impediment, a barrier, and a vulnerability.
Yeah, that way the one for cost wise, the impediment and the vulnerability balance each other out.
So that way you get 6, and then -2 is 4 in total. Yeah, okay.
So
also,
that could be
one
something
side with a
like
creek.
essentially you have like a sheer like drop off on one side is the barrier, and then the other side has the creek. So then you're only really easily accessible from the front and back, so to speak. Well, so I guess you're easily accessible from the front, and then you're normally accessible from the back.
Do we want the back to maybe be the natural barrier though?
Or I mean, whatever. Arrange them however you want.
Yeah.
Those are your 4 quadrants. Yeah, you
So
have
we could do,
one
like-
that's like functionally inaccessible, one that's difficult terrain, one that's easy terrain. One.
Like I think we do so like the south. So like behind us would be maybe the like sheer cliff that drops off, where we're gonna have like our the Mott, right? It's the one that's on top of the
The
hill.
Bailey is the
Bailey?
the part on the elevator ground.
Yeah. So like where we have the Bailey, and then maybe off the side we have the creek there on the left or right. And then then the front we can have the.
Okay, so if we're using cardinal directions, we want the Mott in which direction? The cliff is in the south. The Mott will be.
You mean the creek will be like?
Well,
to the
let me.
east, maybe.
Well,
Let me
for
figure out
the
where the
sake of
Mott's gonna
time,
be first.
we can work out the exact design of that part later.
Oh, okay.
We just want to get the feature set right now. It'll probably be easier to draw once you have all the features anyway. Otherwise, you're going to end up redoing a lot of stuff. So continuing through the workflow, components is your next like big thing. So the right now, like I said, we need to do a little bit of a diplomacy check and whatnot. But the crown has committed 6,700 gold. You guys are currently at a little under 7,000. So you guys have about 2,500 of your own to spend on things. You spent about 300 of. And we can go back and tweak things if you end up being like, oh, okay, actually, like that's too expensive to have the, whatever.
Okay.
All right. So as far as the components go, I would like a magical lab for researching spells.
I want a tavern. Think about it. We all want a tavern.
Yeah, of course.
So what you want to do here, and anybody can do it, just don't delete anybody else's stuff, I guess, is in the G column, in the additional column, unless there's any strong contest, any particular feature, like you can put a 1 near your thing.
Would it be easier if maybe we all write in the Discord what we want and then we go through instead of changing things right away on the sheet?
I mean, however you guys want to do it.
Because I think maybe if we just list the things that we want personally, and then we can immediately go through and be like, well, 2 people want this thing, we can get that thing.
Right. Well, actually, hold on. There's one big wild card, which is your labor discount.
Mm-hmm.
So, because that's gonna, if you manage to get like a 25% discount, then that's gonna significantly change how much stuff you can fit in.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go back to Talespire really quickly for that, and go ahead and just make that, describe to me how you guys all would help contribute to that process, and then each person that's helping will add a +2 to the roll of whoever has the best diplomacy.
I have a +10 to diplomacy.
So you're the best, George.
Oh yeah, considering I only have +2, yeah, go for it.
I have a 6. Yeah.
Well, since I should go get ready, I will say that I will use friendly face and illusions to help display what we're thinking and what we're working on.
Ooh.
And then I will step out for now and go get ready.
Yeah, you're good. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, guys.
See you in a bit.
Bye. Are there entertainers and stuff that are around Capstone? Not necessarily bards, but people who go around and play and inside of different is there one here in the tavern?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're not necessarily doing it here in the tavern, right? You guys are gonna have to go and pitch this to the lady of Capstone.
Oh, I was thinking of spreading the word and recruiting people.
I mean, I guess it's a bit of both, but mainly you're trying to convince the town to, hey, we busted butt, we bled, same blood, same mud, like kind of deal, like trying to convince them to like give you labor.
I will, for my part, see if Bridget will come with me and bring up how I, as a witness, about how I talked to the nobles already and have already like gotten like possibly the promise of more funding in general to Capstone as a whole, and I didn't even have to do that. Like, I just did that because I thought it would help Capstone as the greater good and that we need more.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds helpful to me. And I mean, yeah, if you want to, like, if, Alondite or whatever, like, if you want your help to be like, oh, I'm going to go and try and rally support among the clergy at the church because I'm going to promise to build a chapel or, whatever, like, it doesn't all have to be the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
Or if Skabosh wants to go and try and, like, you're from here, right? So if you want to go and try and give first of all, if you want to listen. Sweetie, I'm talking to you.
Okay.
Like if you wanted to try and like rally the locals or whatever versus, trying to help convince the nobility, like that's fine. Like if somebody wants to go more the route of what Bahir was thinking of, like literally personally recruiting laborers, that's also fine. So Rubato is like magically augmenting the presentation to Donella, the Lady of Capstone. Bahir is like bringing in Bridget more as a set piece than actually having her like try to help you because she's not exactly a great negotiator.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're like
more of like someone to be like, yeah, he really did that for me.
Right. Yeah, you're like name dropping her essentially, but physically.
Yeah.
I'm gonna offer this up again. Goblin labor.
I don't know. You killed the last one.
He tried to run away.
He was tied up. He was tied up.
He did. Also,
He
we
couldn't
told him he
run.
could run away. We said that he could do that.
He was
It was a
tied
secret
up.
mission.
I think you guys are missing something. I'm not sure that Alondite's proposing voluntary goblin labor.
I don't think that.
Yeah.
I think they would fight us to the death. First of all, second of all, we don't even know if any of them survived the orcs coming because we never went to talk to them. Ran out of time.
Well, hear me out. If they attack the camp, they get to live, but they serve the camp.
So we're doing indentured servitude then.
I didn't tell them to attack the camp.
Well, and I don't think that's like you have to already have a stronghold for that. So that doesn't help you with what you're trying to do. Right?
Yeah.
If there's workers building the stronghold and they attack the workers,
We're not going to bank on that.
Or we don't know what alignment he is.
Right.
It's a mystery to all of us.
I don't think he knows what alignment is.
my alignment is protecting the people.
But yes, for more functional discussions, I guess, as a quick aside, Drew, you should be thinking about how you want to try and like make your ask of Donella. And then, like what are Skabosh and Alondite actually going to do to try and help recruit workers?
I mean, I have a bunch of guild members have their records expunged. So
True. Okay.
if they want in on the new stronghold, they might be willing to pitch in if they can stay at the new stronghold.
Okay, I'm down for that. That's three people helping.
Braun probably won't come because he's leader of the guild here. Kind of has to stay here.
Yeah, probably not. But you just need like general laborers, dig trench stuff, or not trenches, but like to dig and move rock.
I'll try to convince the troops, but at the same time, semi-serious.
Yeah, I just don't see how we would pre-calculate a bonus from something that you're hoping might happen due to random encounter chart. Like, So you're thinking you want to try and appeal to militia folk?
Yes.
Got it. Okay. What is that? Give me a little speech or something. What does that look like? How are you appealing to them to do this versus like repairing the holes in the wall at Capstone?
Protectors of Capstone, I ask you to look not inward on Capstone and hide behind walls, but to reach outward and reach beyond these walls and protect what could be beyond. Help me protect what is beyond the walls to allow us to expand outward and protect not to cower behind these walls, but to reach outwards and, for once, attack them. That last bit probably was not the greatest, but
that's all right.
Probably about as good as a chaotic.
I appreciate you winging it. Go ahead and make a diplomacy check.
+2. 17.
Oh. Hey, you guys like to whine about when the dice flips over that one last time to the low number, so you gotta give it credit when it lands on the higher one.
Was it resting at like a 5 before?
Yeah, it was almost on the 5. So it's a 17. All right. I was gonna say that's a bigger ask, which is why I asked you to make a check, because the militia's obviously stretched pretty thin. But I'd say you find a handful of folks that feel strongly about kind of your cause and your argument, and they're like, well, besides, if you're gonna send a bunch of stonemasons and general laborers and whatnot up there, they might need protection. So
I look through the crowd through the handful of soldiers that helped me through the charge. And I point at them and I say, and you know what you can do.
Okay. Yeah, I like that. All right. So Druge, lay it on us. What's your appeal to the Lady of Capstone?
I kind of don't really like, because I joined them, in the middle of their journey, and like I don't really have. I feel like I don't have as much of a relationship or connection with anybody from Capstone as much as they do. I don't really know. I mean, I helped save the city.
I mean, yeah, that's essentially your argument, right?
Like, I was brand new to the militia. I was sent out on a mission to scout for potential threats. And I found a potential threat for sure, and I helped fight it. And nearly dying in the process. But outside of that, I don't like have as deep of connections as I feel they do. So it's kind of hard for me to be like, oh, we have
your connection can be with nature.
Talk about your mom.
Yeah, I mean, like appeal to their heartstrings, right? I brought down part of the mountain, the sacred mountain, to help defend, the town, and and my mom, sacrificed everything to help feed everyone in their darkest hour, and I think you've got more to work with than you're thinking.
Yeah,
he brought down the mountain. Help him bring it up.
I mean, because like most of the time, although Jewish is not built to intimidate, that's kind of the route that I go.
I mean, I don't know. You appealed to the fishermen to help you, and you, I think there's been a fair amount of diplomacy there as well, or at least convincing. Maybe diplomacy is overstating it a little bit,
but I feel like, I mean, yeah, but it's easier for Druge to convince someone to help them fight in the moment because we're all in danger, versus now I'm just like, hey, this is what I did. We're not in danger, but I need your assistance.
Okay.
But I could like puff my chest out, flick my hair to the side, give a little smolder,
Yeah. Okay. I'm down to try and rely on the star power a little more than the words. Okay. Make a perform check.
Whoa! I guess we'll do diplomacy after this, right?
Well, you're gonna do that in a second, but yeah. See how much razzle dazzle do you give them?
Oh, well, it's a good thing I have 0 bonuses to my perform.
Oh,
Alright.
excellent.
Let's see. Give me something good. All right.
All right, so it's not going to give you any kind of bonus or anything, but I'm down to say, right, like Rubato's making little like magical fireworks, and they're kind of covering for what was maybe an otherwise a little bit lackluster. You're used to like, kind of cajoling peasants and stuff. This is a little bit more intimidating. Talking to the lady of the town. But you've got your friends there backing you up. Alondite's trying to rally troops to help, and Bridget's there. Having her hand held aloft.
Too far of the speaking part, yeah.
Maybe Bahir steps in when you falter once or twice. To help keep the flow. Go ahead and give us that diplomacy roll. You're gonna have a plus whatever, in addition to whatever your normal bonus is. You're gonna have a +8 for the help of your friends.
Oh, all right. Didn't mean to roll that. So 17 to 25.
Hey, that is exactly on the cutoff.
Let's go.
So
good enough.
So that gives you a. Oh no! Wait, it's a 26.
Oh
no! That was so close.
That was an accidental roll, though. I clicked and let go. I didn't mean to.
I mean, what if I let you re-roll it and you roll less?
That's true.
Either way, we didn't.
That's still a 20% discount. That's still pretty significant.
Okay. Yeah.
So that brings that essentially bought you an extra 1,000 gold, right? Because you guys haven't started adding anything yet.
Like a whole nother building.
Almost 1,100. So there's a few little things that we will like actually role play out. Some of the things like can Rubato find any wizards or sorcerers or whatever to help with like wood shape or move earth or something like that. So we'll, this is just getting us like the best guess that we have, so we can do some mapping between now and next time. And then maybe you'll get to, maybe you'll have to remove one building, or maybe you'll get to add one extra building or something like that, depending on how those last few little things go. But so yes, as it is right now, with the choices that you've made and possibly a couple more small tweaks coming, you've been granted a budget of 2,500 for discretionary spending, plus with your negotiations you've earned we'll say another 1,000, so you have 3,500 for additional components.
What's the difference between a bedroom suite and a bedroom?
The bedroom suites are like one room that are really big, like a king would have, and like bedrooms are like just normal, like you go there, do you sleep, and they have like chairs and they have like a little bit of furniture, but they're smaller. But there's two of them that are connected
like
to each other.
And like only one person would sleep in them, like one person per bedroom.
Yeah, I think so. I think there's only one bed.
Yeah, because I see the barracks, but then I see the bedroom.
So bedrooms basic. This stronghold area contains 2 smaller bedrooms, possibly with a connecting door. Furnishings in each room are rough, including a straw bed on a low frame, a single chest of drawers, and a mirror hanging on the wall. And then there's a bit more descriptive language. Whereas bedroom suite, even the basic one, is this master bedroom includes a walk-in closet and privy. The furnishings are rough, but they include a straw bed on a low frame, 2 chests of drawers, a mirror, yada yada. So, it's also worth pointing out for size. So the column for stronghold size, strongholds are built in what they call stronghold spaces. So each one stronghold space is a 20 by 20. So I don't think anything within your budget is going to result in like a ridiculously big stronghold, but there is a small chance that we may constrain your fenced in area. You know, you're not going to get to make like a NFL football stadium size thing here.
Keep in mind.
And we already said docks are out of the question. Right?
I mean, yeah, you guys went with like kind of semi-mountainous terrain and like a possibly like a small creek next to it. So I don't think there would be anything dockable there.
Did you want to do
Paper sailboats.
the letters, like send them out now? Also a part of like just ending it off, or
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, if you want to just describe what you're talking about, or like
Yeah. So I'll go up to like Alondite because he owns them. So I'll just make sure he's okay with it. I wanted to write 2 letters, Alondite, and send one to the northern barony, one to the southern barony. And I was going to ask the northern barony to build a shop for us inside of the area. And of course, like they would get like some of the payments from the shop, but they would be paying for it. I feel like that would be a good thing for us to have and not have to pay for it. And then another thing for this from the southern one, I was gonna ask them to build like some kind of workstation, like that could be determined. Like I was thinking, make like a carpenter workstation, but if we're gonna be by the mountains, maybe they could build like. Would like a mining workstation, would that be a thing?
And we would be the
well, it depends on what you're
barony?
mining, right? Like there's a difference between like quarrying stone for building versus you know, looking for gems or precious metals or, you know, what have you.
We're on
I mean,
average.
probably like
Arcane
metals,
Molos
right?
Well, yeah, you could try and mine for any of the above, but as far as like choosing like essentially a refinery, right? Like you'd have to, you know, like you're not gonna cut gems in the same, or maybe you just sell uncut gems. I mean, that's the thing too. But like you're not gonna cut gems in the same workshop that you finish stonework in.
We could also expand later if we find it to be profitable in one or the other.
Do
And
we
just start
want
the mining operation.
set up so do we want to start with like quarrying then? Probably would be the most likely.
Well, quarrying would be just digging like a giant circle as opposed to mining, which would be digging. Well, I don't know. I guess you could do both types.
The way that income sources work for strongholds, because for the most part, outside of staff wages, strongholds are considered to pay for themselves because they don't want to get too much into the nitty gritty of, you know, every little thing. So what the income sources do is your stronghold will generate a profit of 1% of the stronghold's cost per year. So, you know, and we can divide that out into monthly payments or whatever. The downside there being, since you're looking at going with potential income source instead of like developed income source, is you have to come up with that additional 5% cash developed. So it's the same total cost. It's just that you can split it up into 5%. Because you need to, you know, like haul in timber and dig a hole and like like build a mine shaft and make supports and whatever, make an elevator and do like whatever you have to do.
Can that barony guarantee like a sponsorship or investment?
And that's what he's requesting, right?
So like I could ask for like the barony to like front us that other 5% then, right? To like pay to get it up and running.
I mean, so there's a difference, right, between asking for a gift and asking for a loan. So,
well, I mean, that's what I mean is like it's not really like a loan. Like they would come in and set it up, and like we would have people work it, and then they would get like a portion of the
Whatever,
profit.
loan/investment.
Yeah.
Tell you what,
Like
if
it'd be
you
like an
can get
investment.
this to work, I will leave it in your hands.
Okay. Okay. All right. To capitalize on the opportunity, the setup. So like, I could more ask for like to set up mining operations.
How about I make you head of foreign business investment?
Foreign business.
Yeah, so then we'll just need to put in the specifics, like what are you going to do? Like, are you offering them half of the profits until they're paid back with interest, or like what kind of what are the terms of that?
Yeah, I think half the profits would probably be good until like things are paid back, and then give them like, I don't know, they take taxes anyway, right? And then give them maybe like 5 or 10% after.
Sure. So go ahead and write that into your letter, and then they may accept
Okay.
or they may counteroffer or whatever. But yeah, go ahead and write that. So all right. There's a possibility of getting those two, and obviously you can add, right? And as you guys make party money, if you decide that you want to spend it on the stronghold in the future, like you can add additional, components and whatever. Like it's not set in stone. Pardon the pun.
All right, Ribato has sent me a message. He's getting ready. That the magical lab is first, the alchemical lab is second, and the library is third most wanted. In tower form, if possible. So.
I see somebody did put tavern in there.
Yes, I did.
Are we thinking 5 or 10% afterwards?
Oh, if I know what I want, I just put it in there on my
Well, that was my initial suggestion, but then somebody else said, "Well, hold on a second." So, yeah, how do you guys want to handle that? Because I think we want to get pretty soon here, like within the next 15 minutes or so, we want to get kind of a rough draft at least of what the components are going to be, so we can find down.
I mean, mine wasn't anything crazy or expensive. I just wanted the servants' quarters. I think it's like 400 gold.
And is that is that where you're wanting to stay? Is that what you're thinking?
Where I wanted to stay?
I don't know. Yeah, I'm just curious what your /Drew's motivation is for.
Oh, I'm anticipating hoping. Because I see like the personnel tab, like cooks, animal tenders, all that stuff. I'm hoping that we will have a working population relatively soon, and they need somewhere to stay. So, because they're not going to stay in the barracks; those are for the guards,
Right.
Yeah.
So that was kind of my thought process.
That would be good.
It's cheap,
how much are they?
It's 400 gold.
Oh, that's probably good. Personally, I don't really have anything that I really am like, oh my god, I have to have it, other than like maybe another training area but
is as a potential bonus thought,
one already.
Would Drew be thinking about trying to get his mom moved out here?
I didn't think about it, but I wouldn't be opposed. I'm sure he wouldn't be opposed.
Yeah, just a thought. It's, since you're talking about servants' quarters and cooks and whatnot, and like she kind of has some experience in that area. So
the only thing with that is I wouldn't want her to stay in the servants' quarters Like, no disrespect to the folks staying in the servants' quarters, you know what I'm saying? But that's my mom, so.
Oh, we don't have a training area at all.
Rude. And this
That
actually, I would
is-
ask Rubato.
That's because we haven't done anything yet.
As far as telekinesis, and if Druge can do woodworking or moving or stone, wood shape or stone shape, or move earth or any of those things, are you two able to do any of those things?
Not that I know of, at least not right now.
Would your entangle vines count?
Probably
Oh, dear.
not. Druge might. Well, Druge. So that's part of the reason why I was trying to put that off is both Druge and Rubato are types of spellcasters that can seek out magical skills that they don't currently have, but we don't really have a good way to deal with that tonight.
Okay.
So that's so I think for the magic like discounts, I think for now we want to skip that.
All right.
And most of those are pretty small, especially like Wall of Stone. Like those are only in there because of like I just put the whole table in.
I'll put one in for servants' quarters because I think I agree we do need that. What is our maximum? We have like what? Like
you have 3,500. So your
3,500.
total, because this is probably going to be easier to work with, would be you started with what was it? 67 was what was prescribed.
Yeah.
So 92 would be your net budget.
9,200. So we're already almost there. Okay.
Not really. I mean, technically, you're only like 300 above.
Well,
where you
everything costs like 1,000 ish.
No, it doesn't.
Really? Are you looking at the same screen I look at?
A stable
It
would
depends on
be
what you're
nice.
getting.
Stable's 1,000. Okay, so
I don't think we have enough for anything that's 1,000.
Well, because also remember each
8,000 now.
like everything that you add is also currently getting discounted
Mm.
by
that's true.
by 16%. So anything that costs 1,000 is actually 840.
oh, I thought it did already. Okay. Okay, so let's go with everyone gets one of their requests, and then we'll see what's left.
Yeah.
I
I
put
don't
in,
think we have enough money for everyone to get.
Well, I mean, let's just
one.
throw them in there and see what the
Oh,
number
just
comes
pick
out.
one.
I
Okay.
put mine in Rubato's in
Okay, so that's tavern, and I think Mendez wanted the
the
magical
magic
lab.
lab.
Okay,
Oh,
what did you want to hear?
And make sure those
I
of you that are adding
wanted-
stuff, make sure you're doing that in the additional G column, not the F required column.
training area.
And yeah, with the docks, Druge, I thought of you because obviously now you have an affinity, I'm assuming, for harbors and ports and whatnot. But unfortunately, the area where you guys are building just doesn't lend itself well to that.
No, that's all good.
With the animal tender, am I able to call my family up from?
I don't see why not. You like as far as being like the staff people.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that obviously there's not a great way to
Actually-
represent that in the sheet, but this is just to get us started. So okay, so Alondite's doing stable for his thing. Drew suggested servants' quarters. Rubato took magic lab. Rocket took training area, and Skabosh took Or I know I was alternating between character names and not, but took tavern.
Mhm.
That comes out to
Mhm.
8,800. So you actually have like 500 more.
Oh, for real?
Mm-hmm. Like I said, potentially
I-
with some variability, plus or minus, depending on how your last few
We
requests
could-
and whatnot. So.
build a
we don't have-
workplace, right? Or we
We
could
still
build
need
another shop.
barracks. Oh wait,
Barracks is in there.
Barracks is required. Yeah.
Well, so you could add more. Each barracks only supports 10 troops.
Hmm.
We could get a bath. That might be something that would be good.
Do we actually have bedrooms for ourselves put in here?
We do not. The barracks come with
No,
basics.
bedrooms cost 700. Which reduce, so that would be, I don't even know. That might be lower.
It'd be
now.
about 100 off of 700. Is a spitball.
Okay, so it'd be like 600-ish.
It is also worth pointing out, at least for now, what you guys have selected is going to require a minimum of 6 guards, 1 cook, 1 animal tender, a barkeeper, and a servant. Yeah. So for now, 1 barracks and 1 servant's quarters would cover both of those. But you do kind of have to keep in mind lodging. For you guys right now, like half of you would have to sleep in the last few barracks beds, and half of you would have to sleep in the servants' quarters beds as it currently stands.
Mm-hmm.
Is bedrooms multiple or one?
A
There's 2 of
stronghold
them.
space of bedrooms includes 2 actual. So each 700 gets a bedroom for 2 people.
And then we can furnish it as we want to, or it comes pre-furnished.
That includes the basic furnishings.
Okay.
You do also, although you might have enough party funds to pay for this if you want to, but like the armory does not actually include the armaments. So you guys will also need to like buy whatever, swords, crossbows, leather armor, like however you want to outfit the guards and soldiers.
They don't come with their own stuff.
No, that's why
What
Capstone's
the
so
heck?
flippin' poor.
Well, because realistically, you guys are probably going to like recruit and train new people versus taking, because remember the whole militia is like 150 people right now, so I don't think they can't really spare trained militia.
So we
Folks.
probably need that 500 to do that then, because we
We
have
could
6
outfit
guards
them.
coming in.
At a minimum. I mean, yeah, so you guys have to think about that, right? Because that's 2
Yeah.
guards each for 3 8-hour shifts.
We could outfit them and like don them with the best and finest armor and be the shining elite squad.
I mean, just like basic
Capstone.
leather armor and a bow and a longsword is going to be like or something. Like it doesn't have to be.
We could do a common area that might be good. So that costs us about 400, and then we have money left over for the armaments.
Skabosh, what can your guild source?
Yeah, common area is like literally like it's like a multi-purpose room essentially.
Yeah.
I can see if we have anything we can throw in for it.
Yeah, you can. That's the thing you could try and do. We can roleplay that out next time probably.
Perhaps get a discount for it, but they're going to want money for whatever they have.
Everyone wants money, but
Yeah.
you might want less.
I will ask.
Or we could do a shrine as well.
Yeah, that's true. You guys haven't addressed the religious aspect yet.
Oh, yeah.
A chapel would be nice, but I don't think that's in the budget.
I
Yeah.
mean, part of the point of this, right, is it gives you guys like a kind of some things to work towards too.
Great.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, for now, we could just all sleep in barracks and servants' quarters and then go around doing things to get more money to build a room.
We could crowdsource for the chapel and be like, Banah can be.
As I say, you could always ask your church.
Yeah, I guess you could go to your church and be like, "Hey, we're building and we need money for this." And see if they
Hey,
give you
about that
anything.
tithe I pay to you people.
Yeah, I mean, literally though, right? that is part of the point of that. It's not just taking money from Amras.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of, I only got 60 of that 100.
I thought it was 30%.
Yeah, I lost. Wait, yeah, sorry, 70. My bad. Bad math.
You're good.
Oops.
I'll just etch that in.
So what if well, let's look at that. So you guys have what? You have about 400 left right now, which is about 500, and then take the discount out. So
Rubato's like if we're looking at numbers here, Rubato's only like really getting shafted with price wise. He could get to make it a little more in his favor. What does he want? He wants also a chem lab. His first one is only 700, so the chem lab is also, where is it?
At the very top, it's 700.
Magic lab is only 500. So, someone already got it.
yeah, that the magic lab's in there. The alchemical lab was like his second or third choice.
700. Okay.
Yeah.
What do you guys think of that?
I don't think we have enough, right? Unless we went through and got rid of something.
Well, but that would be close enough, right? Because you guys might be able to negotiate like the 3% discount for, the spellcaster.
And then we still have to outfit the
you
people.
need to outfit the troops
and guards.
Yeah, and you haven't messed with a shrine or chapel. Do outstanding things.
Okay, so we'll put a tab on the chem lab. The library is something he said that's only 500, and honestly, I think we could probably, or I could try to convince with the chapel and having the library in the. I know Rubato's probably not going to like it, but having the library in the chapel as a combo. Super run package.
Yeah, I was going to offer that you could probably get the church to commit 500 to. I was going to offer to match you to get the chapel built, but if you're going to spend the other money the other way, then I guess they would just be fronting the cost of a shrine, probably.
Oh, I'm down to make the chapel though. If we want to do that, go halves with it with the church.
Well, but he was also talking about adding the library. One other wrench to throw in here is unless if you guys are just going to like live here and fully adventure out of the castle, you will need a castellan, which means that you need to get a study or office. There's only like the basic one's only 200, so it's not a like significant impact, but that's the thing. Consider you need to have somebody to run the castle instead.
I don't want to get the library because you have to pay for the books. Also, the books don't come with it, so it's more expensive than just the however much it is.
That's true. Yeah, the library is essentially just an empty room with shelves and like a desk.
Yeah.
But the library can essentially wait.
Yeah, that's probably a good thing to build into, and we all know that Rubato wants to try and find books anyway.
So we have to get the study or office. So, right?
So I'm not just a desk servant.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have to do that, and that leaves us with
technically 200, but like I said, there's probably like you could just keep that 200 and use that as your budget to outfit your folks, and or you might potentially get some small discounts.
Yeah, we probably need to use the 200 for the armor.
But yeah, that's probably a good spot to leave it on. And then I guess I said that the church would commit 500 for
before a shrine.
religious
Shrine.
stuff. Yeah, so go ahead, put the shrine in there. Then I'll add that to my notes so I don't forget.
Okay.
Be like, objection.
And then, okay. Then I'll go over the letters here for the last two things to see if they'll commit anything for those.
Yeah, I mean, the issue there is that's going to be like after the fact stuff, right? It's going to take a while for that stuff to travel.
Yeah. Do you want me to go through and read what I have, or? Do that
Let's save
later.
that for next time because I think it's good and flavorful, and we're also a bit later than we were planning on winding down for the day.
Okay.
Because next time,
Sounds
now you guys are going to have to actually execute on this stuff, right? You're going to have to go out and try and like, find a chatelaine and like, recruit people to come and like be guards there and, find a stonemason and, like yada yada. Like I don't want to spend the whole time doing it, but I think it's kind of fun to actually like play through that like recruiting and shopping phase a little bit.
Oh,
And
speaking
especially
of
for
shop-
the Castellan / Shadowlan, right? Like I think that's a person you're probably going to interact with a lot. Like that's going to be the representative of the stronghold you'll probably talk to the most. So I think having a little hiring process for that makes sense.
Another person I could just whip ink vials at.
Except you're the boss.
Yeah, you wouldn't have to because you're in charge.
So as it currently stands, you guys are
They
looking.
screwed up the paperwork.
You guys are looking at a strong. Oh, somebody just changed something.
Got it.
You guys are looking at a stronghold size of 12.5 stronghold spaces, which is, or what, 13.5? Wait, hold on. What are we doing? What else just got added?
Oh, that was an accident.
Okay. So that's about 6 by 6, right? And each square is 20. So you're looking at about 120 by 120, approximately for the area, which is like, sizable, but not huge. So I think that's well within the bounds of what makes sense for y'all to be in command of. The estimated build time would be 10 days. So a 10-day, which actually works out really well. And then the monthly payroll that you're taking on to staff that at its current rate is 94 gold and 5 silver. And you can add, so that's just the minimum required personnel for what you guys take on. If you guys decide that you're like, oh, I want like whatever, I want to try and like found my own, whatever religious school or whatever, like you can hire more acolytes. Or if you're like, hey, I want my stronghold to be known as like a home of like the arts, like you could hire a bunch of artisans or whatever. So that's why in the personnel tab there's the C column for additional. So the minimum staff is the stuff that you must have, and that got auto-filled as you were marking the things that you wanted. The minimum staff is the staff that like you have to operate the features that you've chosen, but you can hire whatever other additional staff you guys are willing to take on the cost of. So you don't necessarily have to decide that right now, but just so you know, like when you're going through the process, maybe you decide like, I'm not super comfortable with having this whole stronghold only have 6 guards. I feel like we should have some more soldiers or, like something like that. Or maybe you want to hire and train a cavalryman, so that way your early warning fort warns the town more than like 2 hours before anybody that's chasing on their heels could warn them.
Ooh. Okay.
Kind of wanting that chamber.
Chamber?
Mm-hmm. I don't like the word torture. It just sounds so.
All right.
We're not putting in a torture chamber.
See, it sounds so. Don't say it like that.
What a D&D moment.
We are not torturing people.
The rogue is trying to convince the paladin to not install a torture chamber in their new fortress.
It's just an information gathering location.
Alondite. Alondite. What happened to you? Torturing. You don't torture. No. No.
Stop saying it that way.
No. Don't make me get my mama involved. He will grab you by your ear and probably yell at you.
Some methods just require a little bit of extra prodding.
We're not putting in a torture chamber.
All right. So between now and as far as I know, is everybody still good to play next weekend, right? We had talked about doing this weekend and next weekend.
It should be good.
Yeah, I believe so.
I think that was what it was, right? Or was it this weekend and the last weekend? No, I think it was this weekend and next weekend was what people said they could do.
Well, I can do either because you know my schedule.
Right. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was the 19th and the 26th. I'll double check with Mendez when he gets here, but it sounds like everybody else is good for 26th.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Should be okay.
So
I don't think I have anything in the calendar. Give me 2 seconds to verify.
Okay. Yeah. And while we're here, I
might get a valet for myself, guys. Not gonna lie. I'm gonna pay for it myself, though. Don't worry. But
yeah, according to the calendar, this was the busy weekend, so we're good.
Okay, cool.
Classic noble, having someone follow them around.
I'll pay for it.
So, reminder post. Here.
I'm gonna find some like poor orphan where I'm sure there might be quite a few now. Come and valet for me.
Local workforce.
Local workforce.
So I'm posting a message with reminders. Post here or message me what you want from the brain farting. The militia guy that has all the stuff.
Quartermaster.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
What you want from the quartermaster? Okay. Then there were 3 things I was going to write down. There was that. There was getting a rough draft map of what you guys think the stronghold might look like. Dang it. I already lost it. I hate ADD.
Read it out loud. What do you got?
Like message me / post what you want from the quartermaster. And thing 2 is what I can't remember, and then thing 3 was probably mostly Amras, but obviously if other people want to contribute, feel free to. We want to rough out at least kind of like a design for the stronghold.
Hmm.
I don't remember if this was it or not, but I'm going to say a session this upcoming weekend. I think of the other thing, I'll post it there. And then, yeah, for, next session, we'll spend, maybe the first half or so kind of dealing with recruiting, interviewing, cajoling, trying to find wizards, just kind of wrapping up the stronghold stuff. And then I'll have something in mind for what to do kind of for the second half.
Okay.
Any other thoughts, questions, anything else you want to get marked down, or components that you're looking at or anything?
I want to add a valet.
I mean, yeah, just go ahead and throw it in there. You can remind us about the.
Okay, my brain heard something totally different. I
was gonna do it tomorrow because interview. It's like a personal servant.
So I'm thinking you want someone to walk a horse up to
the
car.
The valet's like a guy who'll dress me, or if I have some chores I need them to go do.
It's like a civilian squire, essentially.
Yeah.
I just thought of that, but I think that's a great description.
It actually is.
Thank you. You're in the middle of moving. You had a box of Scrabble, a box and a Scrabble game on top of it. You tripped and the game pieces went everywhere. As you were clearing them up, your dad walked up and asked you what's on this.
But they only cost $6 a month, which is I can afford that.
Yeah, individual staff is pretty cheap. It's just that they, as you can see, add up once you start talking about numbers of them. Cool. Well, I think we already touched on last thoughts and people already got them out there. So thank you guys. Hey, we're done before 9 at least. It was a little later than we wanted, but at least it's earlier than we had been being.
Mm-hmm.
Are those like applications just submitted on the wall in the tavern? Just like,
yeah, I'm figuring, we can just kind of hand wave that, yeah, you guys are going to, whatever, pay the town crier to go around and advertise a little and, put up messages on boards at the inns and, that kind of thing. It's just kind of happening in the background.
For the valet, I want to interview for that one, but
okay, cool. Well, thank you guys. Sleep well. Have a good night. We'll catch you next weekend.
Night. Thank you.
Good night. Thank you.
Sounds good. Night.
I'll see you in a second.
Yeah. Slyther and anybody else that was new, thank you so much for hanging out. I'm especially Slyther, since I talked with you the most. I'm looking forward to getting to know you better. I really do want to hear more about your Lord of the Rings game. It sounds like we are of a very similar mind as far as styles of games and settings and whatnot. So I'm excited to hear more about your D&D game. I'm excited to get your townsfolk business set up as well. Heck yeah, that was fun. It was a little different session from how we normally play with going through the Stronghold stuff, but it's kind of a once in a lifetime opportunity, right? So I'm excited to get this thing actually designed and built. I think it's going to be really cool, and we're going to make it in Talespire once we get the design finalized on paper.